Against Fort Wayne this year. They're 1 win and 2 shootout losses here at the Allen County Coliseum. Puck shot up and out of play. Cincinnati went to a quick line change off the opening draw. The Cyclones have won 2 of 3 this week. Ron Smith hoping for a victory here tonight. Cyclones would like to card off that Frank Gallagher trophy.
It sure would. It'd be the first ever conference championship for the Cyclones in their 4 years in the IHL, and also it'd be they've already set the franchise record with 50 wins this season. So a couple big win there at Detroit, and or rather lost at Detroit, but 2 sandwiched around 2 wins, especially that one last night. They clinched their best record ever.
Tough schedule for the Cyclones down the stretch. This is their 4th game in 5 nights, 3 of those on the road. The Clones, though, the best road hockey team in the IHL by far. Scott Thomas, who scored 2 goals last night, gets it out to center. He took a body check. Here's Dale DeGray. He gets the start tonight. Digger will see a lot of ice time coming off that 3-game suspension. I sort of think that was a good deal, though, for Digger. It's like a forced vacation for a veteran. He's 32 years old, and he'll be really fresh for the playoffs now.
He gets a lot of ice time, and he could use the rest, definitely.
Here's McBain in center. The former NHLer Kevin Grant took him out of the play. Scoreless in the early going. As Cincinnati dodges a body check, they start out. Marcinichin sending off for Grant. And on the right for Thomas, 32 goals on the year. He'll dump in front. Colin Shin will clear it behind the net. 5'8" Colin Shin against Dave Tomlinson. They tie up. Now Wortman starts back for Fort Wayne. Wortman on the left for Rob Murphy, the Comets' top scorer. He'll walk in down the boards, taking the wide route. He tried to center. Parked in front was Konstantin Chepronov, number 29. He's their 46th goal scorer. He's 27 years old, but technically a rookie. Clones start back. Greenlaw will dump it in. Fort Wayne zone. After it is Jeff Wells coming up from defense. He was bumped off the play. Spirited opening couple minutes here. A lot of body checks being thrown. Puck in center for Murphy. He dumps it to Chepronov. Here's Shabbat way out of his net, and a very timely clearing effort by Freddie Shabbat there. Greenlaw looking to clear. The puck sent in behind the Cincinnati goal. Here's Jeff Wells, who had the game-winning goal last night against Indianapolis, his 10th of the year. Cyclones nothing, Comets nothing. Early first period. In center, Mitch Messier, number 18 for Fort Wayne. Behind the net, here's Len Esau around on the boards. Kept in on the point. Shot in on goal. Shabbat with a save. The rebound cleared wide. It was dumped in by their very dangerous defenseman, Sean Evans. Puck in center. Willett will drop it off on the right to Guy Dupuis. Now on the Cincinnati defense, Esau turning. Esau scored 15 goals, one shy of the Cyclones team record for defensemen. Now Contos teams after it. Voracek against Dupuis. Will have an icing against Cincinnati.
You mentioned Jeff Wells. After the injury to Bob Wilkie, Jeff Wells really got an opportunity to play in the Cyclones lineup. And then after the losses of Dahlquist and Joyce, boy, that guy has really stepped up his play. And even with Dahlquist coming back to the Cyclones on Tuesday, Jeff Wells is certainly one of the top defensemen for the Cyclones going to the playoffs. He really played his way into the lineup, patient early on, wasn't getting a whole lot of ice time, but when he got a chance to play, he really stepped up and did the task.
Wells, a huge plus player, plus 20 on the year, 10 goals, 19 assists, 29 points in 61 games, a second-year pro from Bowling Green State University. Stefan Oj, our referee tonight, by the way. Jay Jacobs and Mark Wilkins are the linesmen. Ron Smith and Stefan Oj seldom see eye to eye.
I don't think anyone ever sees eye to eye with Stefan Oj. He calls the game his own way. That's for sure.
Willett and Contos on the draw. Cleared back to the Cincinnati net for Lance Brady. Brady, the rookie from the ECHL, he sends it past the point. No score early on, no penalties so far. Back to play at Sean Evans. He felt pressure and dumps it along the boards. Here's Hawkins in with a hard body check on Willett there. That could have easily been a boarding or a charge, but the referee Oj lets play go on. Big body check by Hawkins. Cyclones in across the line. Shahaki tried to drop past there. Now it's along the board. Cincinnati sends to the fire wing. After it, Hawkins in bumping with Guy Dupuis. Dupuis is forechecked. Shahaki gave him a shot. Now Fort Wayne will send it all the way down. No icing. It's on goal. Shabbat will try to clear. The puck bouncing out to center. Taken by Cincinnati's Chris Shahaki. He pokes it down the board. Tomlinson's line on. Cyclones changing on the move. Fort Wayne clears it to center. Fort Wayne has nothing on the line tonight at all, except this is their final regular season home game. Here's Colin Shin moving in. Chin will center behind Shafronov in the slot, their big scorer. Now Lawless back for Cincinnati. Lawless in across the line, drops off for Tomlinson with 39 goals. He falls down but puts it in front for Thomas, who couldn't get a shot off. Now it's cleared to Shafronov on the left wing. Konstantin Shafronov run off the play by Dale DeGray. We'll have a whistle and a penalty upcoming on Cincinnati. 0-0, Fort Wayne and the Cyclones. We'll be right back on Sports Channel.
My life is busy. I'm not a hermit crab. I go all over. But
Ron certainly is not going to be happy with him early on. Watch this call against Dale DeGray. He's got Konstantin Shafronov going to the net. Just puts a little bit of a stick on him. Nice little dive by Shafronov, but that's not a penalty. And unfortunately, Dale was called for the penalty. So the Comets will go on the power play for 2 minutes.
That call by Stefan Ogier will not enhance his relationship with Ron Smith at all. Just a horrible call there. Power play for the Fort Wayne Comets. Here's John LeBlanc along the boards. Now a centering effort cut off by Marcinician nicely. Here's Colin Chin in the corner. He's knocked down by Marcinician. That could have been a penalty, but Ogier kept his whistle out of his mouth there. Didn't blow it. Puck in Fort Wayne ice. The power play for the Comets. Dale DeGray off for holding early in this first period. Comets move it in on right wing. Here's Willett propping along the boards for LeBlanc, who's a good goal scorer. Former Orlando Solar Bear. Out in the point now for Evans. He'll flip it in front. Off a skate just wide of the goal. Grabbed by LeBlanc. Fort Wayne with a man advantage. Willett in the slot. Off for Shafronov, who scored 46. 20 of those goals on the power play. Now the Cyclones clear the zone. 1:10 left in Dale DeGray's minor penalty. Cyclones nothing. Fort Wayne Comets nothing. Out comes Sean Evans. They're good puck-carrying defense, but
they got a lot of guys who like to hold the puck with the Comets, so the Cyclones need to pressure them right away, force them to make passes. That's the way you're going to stop the Fort Wayne Comets power play.
Cyclones have Contos and Hawkins out as the penalty-killing forwards. Sliding in on right wing is Shafronov. He lost it at the blue line. Here's Esau ragging the play. Comets gain it back. Sean Evans turning at his own line. Evans ahead on the right. Rob Murphy couldn't handle that. And Esau sends it down the ice. Behind the play, he was dumped by Colin Chin. Lost his helmet. And now he hooks and knocks down Murphy. The referee didn't see that either. Esau was knocked down. The referee didn't see it. And now Esau retaliates and dumps Rob Murphy with a hook. Cyclones clear it all the way down. Eric Dandino doing the job. 14 seconds remaining on the Cincinnati minor penalty. Comets nothing, Cyclones nothing. Here come the Comets up the middle of the ice. Dupuis along headmanning effort as Messier is knocked down into the line. That'll be a penalty on Dave Marcinician. A little bit of a dive there by Mitch Messier, the veteran. He felt the stick and embellished it a bit.
Marcinician and Esau were both giving it to a couple different Fort Wayne Comets. LeBlanc took a shot. Murphy took a shot from Esau, and Stefan Ogier was watching those two guys out of the corner of his eye, and he caught Dave Marcinician with one, and he's going to go to the box. A little bit of a tug there. Just enough to throw him off. Pretty good call.
1 second left on the first Cincinnati penalty to DeGray. He'll be back, but Marcinician goes off. Hooking at 5:58, as you see.
Cyclones now have got to kill off another full 2 minutes. They can't afford to be in the box all game here against the Comets. Comets have a pretty good power play, especially lately since they picked up some guys through trades at the deadline, and Cyclones definitely not want to match these guys penalty for penalty. The Comets take a ton of penalties. Cyclones would prefer to let them take the penalties, stay on the power play. That's the way they're going to beat the Comets tonight.
There's Rob Murphy, the Comets' leading scorer this year. Their top man on the power play is Shafronov with 20 power play goals. John LeBlanc has scored 14. Some of those, though, with Orlando. Evans stays out on the point. Back-to-back power plays for the Comets. Here's Paul Willett through center. Willett will wind it around to the board. Shabbat tried to stop it. Kept in the corner by LeBlanc, who's run off the play. DeGray did a good job there. Back behind the net, Willett looking to center. Out on the open point for Evans. Now right in front for Chin. A shot. Rebound. Score. Fort Wayne. Good puck movement by the Comets there. Colin Chin might have put in his own rebound. It's 1-0 Comets.
The original shot by Chin was blocked by Lenny Esau. Esau thought he had it underneath him, but it popped back out to Chin, and He's able to send it by Esau, who was kind of screening Freddie Shabbat. Shabbat didn't have a chance on it. Here's the original pass out. Now watch, Chin steps up, and Esau gets a piece of it, but it pops back free. And Chin's able to knock it up over Freddie Shabbat's leg. And the Cyclones, the Comets rather, have a 1-0 lead. There's the initial block by Esau. Comes through, and then Chin gets it right back on his stick and just shovels it up over Freddie's shoulder.
That is Chin's 11th of the year. He hasn't played that much this season because of a wrist injury. Colin Chin taunting the Cincinnati bench a bit. He is a native of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Colin Chin was born here in Fort Wayne. Then he went to the University of Illinois, Chicago. He played for the Flames in their hockey program, and that program is being disbanded. There won't be any more UIC hockey after this season.
Fred Knitzer, another guy from Fort Wayne, played sometimes with the Boston Bruins a few years ago.
Clones with the Steelers. Tomlinson in across the line with Lawless. That play broken up. 1-0. Fort Wayne leads it on a power play goal by Colin Chin. Cyclones playing from behind on the road. They've been a great road team this year. Thomas leads a 3-man rush. Big shot blocked on defense by Wortman. Thomas, after the rebound behind the goal, comes off to Tomlinson. He has Lawless parked in front. Lawless was well covered. At the blue line, DeGray, a big drive. That went well wide. Coming off on the wing to Chris Winnis, the former Michigan K-wing. Winnis with a puck, firing from the blue line, blocked on defense. The rebound coming off. Here's a backhand shot over the crossbar there. Wilson shot that. Cyclones start back. Lawless through center. He scored 26. Lawless on the open wing for DeGray up from defense. He's dumped off the play by rookie Chris Tock. Fort Wayne trying to come out, handling the puck like a hand grenade in their own end at the moment. Now they start out. Here's little Andy Bezo, the top penalty minute man in the league. Long shot blocked to the boards by Shabbat, who is a former Fort Wayne Comet. Now Bezo into the corner against Marcinician. Bezo centers for Murphy. Murphy circles the net. Both clubs at full strength. Jeff Wells gives them a rough ride into the boards. Fort Wayne leads it 1-0 on an early power play goal. Bezo all over the place from wing to wing, looking for any body he can find in an enemy sweater. Andy Bezo with 590 penalty minutes on the year. That's tops in the league. Only 58. Now here's Wells, a wrist shot from the boards. Blocked on defense by Tock. Back comes Fort Wayne. In on left wing, Murphy. Murphy takes the shot from a bad angle. Well handled by Frederick Shabbat. Fort Wayne 1, Cincinnati 0. We'll be right back on Sports Channel.
Is this how you spent the holidays? Well, you're not alone. Today, about 50%
of the Cincinnati Cyclones 95-96 season. 50 wins, 26 wins on the road, trying to make it 27-51 tonight, and 109 points. All Cyclones franchise records. Congratulations to the boys in white, red, black, and gold.
One more win, though. They win the Frank Gallagher Trophy in the Eastern Conference. One Cyclones win or an Orlando loss at Atlanta tonight. We'll keep you up to date on that Orlando-Atlanta score. That started the same time as this game. Puck in the Cincinnati zone. Hawkins turning. Gets it ahead to Cantos, who plays center ice on this third line with Doug McDonald still injured. Here's Lance Brady out with Dandino on the defense. Eric Dandino controlling. Dandino actually playing a right wing this year. He tries to clear. Cyclones having trouble out of their own end. Brady darts behind the goal. Brady threw it right up the middle. Cantos there. Sweeping on the right wing for Dandino, who's played well. He'll drop for Cantos. Cantos for Dandino. Dandino brings it out in front. Backhand shot. Bad save by Asenza. The rebound cleared to the side. Cincinnati wanted a penalty there, and they're going to get it on Fort Wayne. Boy, Dandino has played very well lately. He brought it out in front. Good skating, good stick work, and almost beat Bob Asenza.
Very good going to the net, Dandino. He grabs that puck and is not afraid to take it himself and go to the net hard with it. A lot of players will stay on the perimeter and take shots, but he sticks his nose in there, Dandino, and he forced the penalty there, and Cyclones now are going to have a power play opportunity. Great move going to the net there. And he gets crushed from behind.
That's what you would call the quintessential cross-check there. The penalized player is that Chris Tock, the rookie? Yeah, Chris Tock, the rookie defenseman from the University of Wisconsin. He goes off. Or is it Guy Dupuis?
It is Guy Dupuis in the box. He's going to go to the box. 2 minutes for cross-check.
The Cyclones with their first power play of the game. Fort Wayne leads it on a power play goal of their own by Colin Chin. 1-0 Comets. We played just over 9 minutes from the Allen County Coliseum. Here's Tomlinson trying to headman in for Biggs. That play broken up. Fort Wayne standing up well at their own blue line. Shabbat out in front of the net, shot it around the forechecker. The puck to the far boards, taken by Brian Dobbin. Clones had 2 power play goals last night in the 3-2 win over Indy at the Gardens. Tomlinson, Cyclones top scorer with 95 points. He'll gun it off the boards. The Clones go in and get it. Far corner, Dobbin and Lawless there. Now Biggs in behind the net, forechecking against Tock. The puck pops loose for Dobbin. Dobbin trying to feed the point. Shot across for Tomlinson. Left corner to Biggs. 16 power play goals. He is leveled there. Lawless saves the day and keeps it in. Tomlinson for Lawless. Lawless deep to the corner, feeding the blue line. Here's Tomlinson's shot, and the point was well covered there. We have a delayed penalty coming up on Fort Wayne. Cyclones still with puck control. Here's Biggs, who's lost his helmet. Feeding side of the net, finally intercepted. We'll have a second cross-checking minor on Fort Wayne. Cyclones will have 50 seconds of 2-man advantage.
When you get another penalty after you've already got 1-man advantage, you should turn the puck right over to the other team. Give it to them right away. Get the whistle right away. That way you have longer time on the 2-man advantage. I don't think the Cyclones are aware of it. They're moving the puck around the perimeter. Meanwhile, the whole time, the first Comets penalty is starting to expire. So the rule is when you get a second penalty, just turn it right over to the other team. As soon as they touch the puck, the whistle blows and you have a 2-man advantage.
Not to be too critical of Stephen Auger, but I thought he was very lazy in signaling a delayed penalty. I don't think the Cyclones saw it.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it at first either until I actually looked at Freddie Shabbat coming out of the net. So Auger didn't do a good job of signaling, and about 10 seconds were wasted there by the Cyclones.
Clones with a 5-on-3 advantage. The one forward is McBain for Fort Wayne. Cyclones cycle it around. Right through the goal crease. Nobody got a stick down. Out to DeGray now. He'll move in, wind up, and shoot it. It's deflected right in on goal, and Asenza stands his ground. Bob Asenza, very good goaltender.
Great goaltender. Played for the Comets back in the 88-89 season, then went on and played quite a few years with Winnipeg and the Detroit Red Wings, now back in a Comets uniform.
Senza's numbers are good this year, 24-3-5, 292 goals against. He's played well against the Cyclones this season. Face off to the right of Asenza. 37 seconds left on the first penalty to Dupuis. Clones win another draw. Here's DeGray, 59 points. He'll send across for Tomlinson. He'll walk in, give it side of the net. They try to get it to Greenlaw in front. And now Tomlinson head of the face-off circle. Off to DeGray, a one-timer, hit a skate. That was blocked in front. Kept in by DeGray. He'll fire again. Rebound loose right at the goal crease. Thomas going after it. Greenlaw is there. Cyclones can't finish off the play, though.
Good work by the Cyclones. Get that puck back to the point and shoot away. And then big guys like Greenlaw, Scott Thomas, they go to the net and try to follow up on the rebound. One of the statistics we didn't mention earlier with that last graphic, the Cyclones have scored 94 power play goals this year. That's a franchise record. There's the shot by DeGray. You see it get blocked. He picks it back up, and he just tees it up again. Pounded at the net. Look at, you see Greenlaw, Thomas, Contos, they're all right on the doorstep looking for a rebound. Good job by the Cyclones. The big reason why they've scored 94 power play goals this year and set that franchise record is a lot of good, big, strong forwards going to the net, following up on the rebound.
Chin and Biggs on the draw, and Fort Wayne ice. Again, Cincinnati wins the face-off. It comes off to Straub, though, around to the boards, grabbed by Dobbin. Still 2-man advantage for another 10 seconds. Tomlinson, a shot, tried to go short side. Dobbin controlling the rebound. Feeding Tomlinson again, off for Dobbin now. Cross ice to Gray, a drive. Oh, he had the far corner pick. And Asenza made a spectacular glove save. Dale DeGray, a one-timer there, put it right to the corner of the net. That might have rung the goalpost if Asenza hadn't grabbed it with that quick glove.
95% of the time, that puck's going in the net. Cyclones had a screen in front. DeGray went for the upper corner. He hit exactly the spot he wanted to hit. Watch the screen. He's shooting through a little bit of a screen. He goes right where he wants it to. Great save by Bob Asenza. Absolutely robbing DeGray. Watch, he gets him moving. Coming back, he hits the corner where he wants him. Wow, what a glove by Bob Asenza.
The first penalty to Dupuis is expired. Still 1:10 left on the second penalty to Chris Tock. Scoring with 2-man advantage isn't that easy against a good goaltender like Asenza.
Asenza moved from left to right and still made that save. That was the amazing thing about it.
Wolves win the draw. Tomlinson's shot that hit Dobbin in front. The rebound off to Lawless, and again Asenza with the glove save, robbing Lawless. Dobbin skating off the effects of that shot that hit him from the blue line. He's hobbling around. Lawless is robbed point blank.
Not only is Asenza making the saves, he's not giving up any rebound either. It's one thing to make a great save, but then I'm kicking it back out in front. But Asenza both times just gloved it and stopped the puck where it is and forces another faceoff, gives the Comets a chance to regroup.
Fort Wayne leads at 1-0, 9:02 left, first period. 1:04 remaining on the Chris Tock Comet penalty. Again, Biggs winning another draw. He'll kick it back on the point. Tomlinson looks to keep it in. Cleared to center by Colin Chin. Chin moving it across. Chin shooting from the board. Shabbat blocked that. A high rising shot. Frederick did a good job of getting a piece of that. Cyclones reform the power play. Here's Dale DeGray. Head manning for Biggs. He deflects it wide of the goal. This is Asenza leaving it for Dupuis. Dupuis couldn't control. Now out at the point, it comes off for Biggs. That knocked off its moorings. Dobbin and Lawless were knocked into the goal net.
Stefan Oj signaling for a face-off just to the right of Bob Asenza. It looked like Lawless got taken out by a Fort Wayne Comets player and into the net. Probably could have been a penalty. Lawless is going to argue with him. He's down there talking to Oj right now about the situation, feeling like he got knocked into the goaltender and there should be a penalty. But Oj basically signified the fact that it was a Comet player that knocked Lawless into the net because he didn't bring the face-off all the way outside. So if that's the case, why wasn't there a penalty call?
Lawless has been hot lately. He scored 26 goals on the year. 84 points for Lawless. He had an 11-game point scoring streak, but Paul hadn't scored in the last 2 games. And the shutout at Detroit, obviously, he didn't score. And then last night against Indianapolis, despite 7 shots on the net. Lawless is getting 6 or 7 shots a game. Great scoring chances. And I predicted he's going to break out big time in the playoffs.
Let's hope he does. He's got 80-something points. I mean, he's had a great season. He's just not scoring at the same clip that he usually does. But all that can change next Friday night.
Final power play right for Cincinnati here. Cronin back in the net, the big lumbering defenseman. Dobbin forechecking him. Puck behind the Fort Wayne goal. Dug out for Andrew McBain, who has plenty of NHL experience. He'll send it all the way down. Fort Wayne killing off the penalty in about 1:20. A 2-man advantage, and the fans here at Allen County Coliseum love it. Comets lead it 1-0. Now the Cyclones move in. Here's Dandino firing from the right wing boards. A high shot over the crossbar. Asenza might have gotten a piece of that with a glove. Let's take a break. Fort Wayne 1, Cincinnati 0. First period on Sports Channel. You see the numbers there. Cyclones trailing 1-0 on a Fort Wayne power play goal by Colin Chin from John LeBlanc and Sean Evans at 6:22. Cyclones have had plenty of power play opportunities, but they've been denied by Bob Asenza. Club's at full strength at the moment. Here's Dupuis in the Fort Wayne end. He's forecheck. Hawkins put a body into him. Off to Contos, a bad angle shot. Out to Wells now. He fires one right in on the net. Not much of an angle there. Hawkins is out throwing his weight around.
Yeah, I like this line of Hawkins gets out there. He played a little bit with Chris Jahaki the last time out. And Hawkins is the Andy Bizo of the Cincinnati Cyclones. He's the guy who goes in the corner, gets the job done, sticks his nose in there. You can see a little mark on his face from being in there in the corner. But nice bump by Todd Hawkins. Takes his man out. He always gives you that, Todd. Every time he shows up, he comes and plays 100%. You know what you're going to get on him. He's not the fanciest player in the world. He's not going to get you 100 points. But, boy, does he go in the corners and do the banging that needs to be done out there.
He was a throw-in in the Dale DeGray, Mike Stevens trade. Cleveland just wanted to dump his contract. Wanted to get rid of him. Hawkins has been a real find. He's out there with Dandino and Contos on that third line. Dandino, number 3, set up at the side of the face-off circle. He's been a strong addition, playing up front and also on defense for Cincinnati. Forechecking is Contos. Up comes Dandino looking to get a hit there. The puck kept in on the point. The Marcinishian shot and a stick save by Asenza. Behind the net, Contos. Contos cycles. Gives it for Dandino. Dandino and Dupuis on the boards. Cincinnati hemming the play in with this line. Here's Hawkins, a low shot. The rebound, Contos. The save again by Asenza. Dandino had a third chance. Wow, when you get this kind of opportunities created by your third line, it's a real plus.
Well, the Cyclones and the Comets now tied with shots on goal at 9 apiece. The Cyclones put 6 quality shots on Bob Essensa during that last 2-man advantage power play, and Essensa turned them all aside. Now a couple of 5-on-5 opportunities like this one, and Essensa again comes up big with it. Watch this shot. He's steering everything towards the corner. Here's another opportunity. Just kicks that thing wide, stays with the rebound. Bob Essensa doing a great job in goal for the Comets, and he's been having some back problems lately. The backup goalie Les Kuntar for the Comets has made the last 3 starts, but Essensa back in the net tonight, similar to Frederick Chabot's situation, was out, #1 goalie out with an injury, but making that last key start right before the playoffs get going, make sure they're sharp.
This is the first game that Essensa's played in about 10 days. Kuntar played 3 in a row. Tomlinson and Chin on the draw. Kick behind the net for Straub. Straub on the Fort Wayne defense. Now it's centered for Chin. Chin dumps it off the near corner boards. Grabbed by Lawless. He overskated. Here's Shafronov with a quick shot. Almost at number 47 there. Lawless back the other way. Straub knocked it aside. Now Murphy in across the line. Here's Shafronov. Luckily the puck bouncing. Cleared by Lance Brady. Brady around to the boards for Scott Thomas. 32 goals. Thomas through center, usually plays with Duck McDonald, but McDonald is out with the injured rib. The puck dropped behind the net. Here's Lawless moving it in front. Can't get a shot away. Tomlinson now off to Lawless. He steers it wide. Now from the point, Brady. His shot hit a skate. Puck bouncing out to center. Esau did a good job of riding Shafronov off the play. Brady back to get it. Brady shoots it ahead. Icing here against Cincinnati. 6:08 left first period. Fort Wayne 1, Cincinnati nothing. And Rob Murphy's headed back to the Fort Wayne dressing room for either an injury or an equipment problem.
He took a run at Dale DeGray down there in the corner and flat out missed him and ran into the boards. I'm not sure if he hurt himself or not, but DeGray just quickly moved out of the way and Murphy went crashing into the boards. Although these boards here in Fort Wayne are very, very flexible. They make a lot of noise when you hit it, gets the fans excited, but the good thing about it is it keeps injuries down because they're so flexible.
Chabot in goal for Cincinnati, his 4th start in the last 5 games. Danny Lorenz basically took over when Chabot was injured. Now Chabot's getting sharp for the playoff. Here's Greenlaw motoring in on left wing. He'll center. Dobbin was tied up there by Cronin. Off to Workman of Fort Wayne. Cut to center. DeGray there. Puck in the neutral ice area. Wilson brings it across. Biggs back checking. Sweeps it to the boards for Greenlaw. Greenlaw rubbed off the play in center. Captain Don Biggs now. He circles, he walks in, he shifts to the backhand. He'll just spin it down the boards. Cronin in behind. He takes a hard body check. Boy, the big, who was it? Todd Hawkins, of course, taking that run, coming out on a line change. Fort Wayne leads it 1-0. 5 minutes left here in the first period from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Final regular season game for both teams. Game number 82. Cyclones need a win or an Orlando loss to win the Eastern Conference and get the #1 seed in the playoffs. If the Cyclones get that #1 seed, they play Atlanta. If they get the #2, they will play Fort Wayne in the first round. We'll have an icing call here against the Fort Wayne Comets. Let's take a break. 4:56 left first period. Comets 1, Cyclones nothing on Sports Channel.
Look, you have got to go to Office Depot and see for yourself.
The Eastern Conference playoff picture, ironically, those 2 games involve all 4 of these teams. If Cincinnati wins or Orlando loses, the Cyclones will take on Atlanta next Friday night. And Orlando will play tonight's Cyclones opponent, the Fort Wayne Comets. If the Cyclones lose and Orlando wins, it's the other way around. Orlando plays Fort Wayne and the Cyclones. Orlando plays Atlanta and the Cyclones play Fort Wayne.
It's just not that easy, is it, Shaq?
I thought I had it covered, and then I screwed it up at the end.
Too many permutations and combinations here. Let's just get on to the playoffs. Here's Danzano on the boards. He'll send it behind the net. Contos, that's cut off by Willett, though, of Fort Wayne. The third line out there, the bump and run line, if you will, for Cincinnati. Cronin in behind the net, I should say Evans, starting out for Fort Wayne. The headmans. Puck dropped on the wing. Here's Paul Willett darting it across. Willett will drop it. Quick shot. Chabot with a save. The rebound cleared smartly by Marcinician. Good scoring chance there for LeBlanc, who's deadly around the net. But finally, Marcinician cleared the rebound. Here is Mitch Messier in back of the net. Marcinician got a piece of him. Comes off for LeBlanc. He tried to pick the far corner, shot it wide. Kept in on the point by Straub. Straub will roll it behind the Cincinnati goal. Comes off to John LeBlanc. LeBlanc will feed in the deep slot. Cyclones clear it out to center. Now it comes off to Hawkins, in with Dandino. Hawkins sweeping, and he's got that big shot. Oh, he tried to pick the far corner. That might have missed the net. But Asenza did the splits anyway to make it look good.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. You go after everything. Even though that puck was probably going to go wide, Bob Asenza made it look spectacular. Gives his teammates and all the fans here in Fort Wayne a lot of confidence in him. Watch this shot. Hawkins pulls up and just rips one up top. It's probably going to go wide, but Bob Asenza does a great job getting his glove on there anyway. And he has been the difference in this game. Shots on goal 11-10 in favor of Fort Wayne, but Cyclones with many more quality shots and Bob Asenza with many more quality saves.
Did you notice the Fort Wayne defenseman jump right out of the way of Hawkins' shot? I mean, they know how he can shoot the puck around the league. He didn't try to block that. It's a lot like James Black. You don't try to block his shot. Here's a shot by Esau in through to the net. The rebound cleared, kept in by Brady of Cincinnati. Another quality scoring chance there. Esau's shot through a screen. Here's Chin weaving across for Shafronov. Shafronov a low shot. Shabbat saves that. Chin back of the net. Colin Chin with about 250 goals here with Fort Wayne over 10 years. Now it's backhanded in front by Chris Stock. Lawless will clear behind. Fort Wayne doing a bit of forechecking. The puck comes off in front, steered wide by Rob Murphy, who's back on after some minor repairs. Puck in center. Scott Thomas darts in for Cincinnati. Dropping for Lawless. Lawless' shot blocked by Murphy. Esau pinching in from defense, trying to keep it in. The puck trickles to center. Thomas shot it back across. Fort Wayne leads at 1-0. 3 minutes left. First period from Fort Wayne. Cyclones playing their fourth game of the year here. They've won one in regulation and lost twice in shootouts in this building so far this year. Don Biggs slapping at the puck. Wilson brought it in across. Now McBain on the boards, feeding the right point. Quick shot by Wortman, just missed the far corner. Winnis was parked there and almost deflected it in. Fort Wayne's had a couple of good shifts back to back. Here's Wortman again, putting it in on goal. Big rebound. Shabbat with a pad save on Chris Winnis, who came in between the circles and took a low one.
Frederick Shabbat showing a little spectacular goaltending of himself. He's been watching his cohort down at the other end of the ice doing it for the Fort Wayne Comets, and Freddie Shabbat with a couple of key saves there for the Cyclones.
First shot
off the shot from the point. Then Freddie stays with it, goes into his butterfly position and makes the save on the rebound.
Shabbat, the top goaltender in the IHL, and his numbers are spectacular. 250 goals against, 3 shutouts, 22, 9, and 4. In Shabbat's 9 losses, the Cyclones offense has scored only 16 goals. So it's sort of like a pitcher who throws a 1-run game or 2-run game, but doesn't get much run support.
Former Fort Wayne Comet, Freddie Shabbat. I played with Freddie that year, 89-90 in Fort Wayne, and he was a rookie that year in the Montreal Canadiens organization, and the start of a fine career.
Puck came back in the Cincinnati goal. Fort Wayne getting more physical now. Clones look to clear. Here's Hawkins sending it wing to wing. Grabbed there by Dandino. Dandino run off the play by Guy Dupuis. Dupuis grabbed his stick. Now the puck behind the Fort Wayne goal. Sean Evans looking to clear. Dandino holds it in. He'll fling it into the corner. Up and out of play it goes with 2:07 left, first period.
Talking about the playoff picture a little bit, I think the Cyclones would much rather play at the Atlanta Knights. The Fort Wayne Comets are a real tough team here at home. Atlanta's not a good team in their own building. Atlanta actually has a better road record than they do a home record. Cyclones are almost unbeatable at the Garden, so they would much rather face the Atlanta Knights. That also means that they would be getting a win here tonight. They'd be in a little bit of a roll, 2 wins in a row going into the playoffs. So I think they're all gearing towards Atlanta, but they've got their work cut out for it. The Fort Wayne Comets, really with nothing to play for, have come out and played a pretty solid first period here tonight.
Fort Wayne lost at Kalamazoo last night to the Michigan K-Wings 6-1, but Coach Dave Farish decided not to take 4 key players on that road trip. Colin Chin didn't make the trip, neither did Mitch Messier, nor Sean Cronin, nor goaltender Bob Asenza. So he basically gave up the 2 points to get ready for Cincinnati tonight, keeping 4 players here in Fort Wayne.
He's actually keeping a couple of guys out of the lineup tonight that'll probably be starting lineup in the playoffs. Gerard, Oleg Yashin, and Jeff Rolacek, also good players for the Comets. So choosing to rest his troops down the stretch.
A Cincinnati-Fort Wayne series would not be an easy one, that's for sure. Not to say that Atlanta would be any pushover. Far from it. Here is Shafronov in across the line. Dropping for Murphy. Tried to pick the far corner and gunned it wide. Now they bring it back. Looked like they brought it in offside. Cyclones with a 2-on-1 break, though. Hawkins firing one. Good save by Asenza. The rebound. Hawkins overskated. Marcinician up from defense. Pinned on the boards by Straub. The puck loose in skates, and the referee, Auger, finally whistles it for a face-off. Hawkins displaying that big shot from right wing.
He loves to come down over the blue line and then pull up, Todd Hawkins. He doesn't always hit that puck on the run. He pulls up. This case, he slaps it on the go, puts a real good shot on Asenza. Asenza, for the first time tonight, doesn't control the rebound, and Hawkins had another shot at it. If he had been able to get a stick on that before the Comets defense, he would have been able to center it out front.
1:12 left first period. Our first intermission guest, Cyclones coach Ron Smith.
Talked a little bit about the playoff picture and what his assessment of the Cyclones team is after 82 games this season, and how the team looks going into the playoffs.
Biggs right back in the point. Here's DeGray's shot blocked in front. Biggs winning the lion's share of the faceoff. Now Wilson in across the line, but offside on the left wing are the Fort Wayne Comets.
We also talked to Ron Smith a little bit about the addition of Chris Dahlquist coming from the Ottawa Senators on Tuesday. He'll be here. The Ottawa Senators have finished their season, and Chris Dahlquist will be in the Cyclones lineup on this coming weekend with the playoffs, and that is an absolutely huge addition for the Cyclones. Chris Dahlquist is good for 1 goal a game against keeping it out of the Cyclones' net. He's a real solid defenseman, probably the best defenseman, pure defenseman in the IHL.
That's what Rick Dudley said last night. He was in scouting the Cincinnati-Indianapolis game, and he's very impressed with Dahlquist. Dahlquist also the best open ice hitter that the Cyclones possess, or will repossess come next week when the playoffs open. 1-0, Fort Wayne leads it 43 seconds before the first intermission. Here's DeGray up from defense. DeGray reaching the line, faking the shot, dodging in, gunning one, and he missed it high. The puck rebounds to the left point. Greenlaw looking to keep it in. Now it's fought out to center. Biggs along the boards. Ross Wilson for Fort Wayne. McBain sends it in wide of the Cincinnati goal. 22 seconds before the break. Messier forechecking against Greenlaw. It's bounced in toward the goal. Shabbat loves it. Shabbat decides to cover up, though, as he and the defenseman he saw got their wires crossed.
Another thing Dahlquist brings to the table for the Cyclones is the fact that he's just a great guy in the dressing room. A real leader, quiet, soft-spoken guy, but lets his play do the talking out there on the ice, and a lot of the guys look up to him. And he certainly adds a lot of veteran leadership back on the defense with some young guys back there. Guys like Dandino and Jeff Wells, they need that veteran guy in Chris Dahlquist. So he's going to add a lot in the dressing room as well as on the ice.
What will Ron Smith do with his goaltenders, I wonder, in the playoffs? Will he go with Frederick Shabbat, who's clearly been playing better than Danny Lorenz lately, or will he alternate as he did in the regular season when both were healthy?
I'll bet he starts off alternating and then sees what happens.
Puck side of the net late in the period. Scott Thomas now will shoot it out to center for Lawless. That's the end of the first 20 minutes from Fort Wayne. Comets score an early power play goal. They lead the Cyclones 1-0. We'll be right back on Sports Channel. And 20th at the Gardens. 7:30 face-off both nights. Tickets are available for those two playoff dates. Those dates are basically cast in concrete. We just don't know if the Clones will play Fort Wayne or Atlanta next Friday and Saturday at Cincinnati Gardens.
Either way, it should be a good matchup. The Fort Wayne Comets certainly are a worthy opponent, as well as the Atlanta Knights, and it's going to be a good couple of games Friday and Saturday night at home. Cyclones worked all season long to retain that home ice advantage, and they'd like really take advantage of it. See a big, huge crowd out there Friday and Saturday in the Gardens, and really rooting the Cyclones on in the Turner Cup playoffs.
To show you statistically how even the series is between Cincinnati and Fort Wayne this year, the goals for and goals against are dead even now at 21-21. There's a group from Cincinnati, the Puck Pack. There are now dueling fan clubs. Oh, we love Andy Mack and Shags. Thank you so much. That's a great way to get on television. That'll get you on TV every time. Yes.
I would encourage many more of those signs.
We like that guy.
Beautiful Sports Channel logo out there. And,
yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very kindly. 1-0 Fort Wayne leading. By the way, they're going to be giving away those, actually auctioning off those Cyclones warm-up jerseys you've seen all year long at the Cincinnati Gardens.
Yeah, that guy right there holding the sign up was wearing one of them. It's the Cyclones warm-up jerseys brought to you by Ohio Casualty. The black and gold shooter jerseys will go on sale to the public this Wednesday, April 17th, and all proceeds from the sale of these jerseys will be donated by the Ohio Casualty Group to the Habitat for Humanity. All the purchases of the shooter jerseys are tax deductible. Call the Cyclones at 531-7825, 531-PUCK for more details. Ohio Casualty, where extra effort is their policy.
By the way, the Cyclones fan club will have their awards banquet Tuesday night at Schuler's Wigwam. And that's open to the public, $25. So call the Cyclones office for more information. Tuesday night, the Cyclones fan club banquet. The players will all be there. They'll give out awards and generally have a fine time.
It certainly is. It usually is a great time. The Cyclones fan club annual award banquet.
A little trouble in the goal crease near Frederick Chabot's net. Frederick coming off the knee injury. He was a little shaky last Saturday against Cleveland in a 5-4 loss, but in his 2 wins against Indianapolis, Wednesday 6-2 and last night 3-2, Chabot was right back on the top of his game.
Frederick Chabot, the Bank One Player of the Year, received the award last night at the game, and congratulations to Freddie for that fine award.
Fort Wayne winning the faceoff. Bezo bowled in across the line, but he was knocked off the puck. Don Biggs' line will start for Cincinnati. Here's Dandenault playing a shift on defense. He's been now Wallace moving right in, but an offside pass against Cincinnati. Dandenault has been all over the place. He's played right wing tonight on a third line with Contos and Hawkins. Now he's playing on the opening defense with Len Esau.
He's a versatile player, Dandenault. He and Ross Wilson, the right winger playing for the Fort Wayne Comets, wearing number 23, played together this year for Dennis DeRozier in Saginaw. Former Cyclones coach Dennis DeRozier doing a good job coaching Dandenault and Ross Wilson. Both those guys are on the playoff rosters for the Cyclones and the Fort Wayne Comets, respectively. Also heard recently that the Fort Wayne Comets are going to get Scott Gruhl back from the East Coast Hockey League for the playoffs. He's the all-time leading scorer in IHL history. He's playing in the East Coast Hockey League with Richmond, but he is on the Comets Fort Wayne playoff roster, and we should see him in the lineup next weekend as well.
Gruhl was playing with Richmond in the ECHL, but they're out of the playoffs. Fort Wayne put Gruhl on their playoff overall roster. Dave Mikhailuk has passed Scott Gruhl for the goal-scoring leadership all-time in the IHL, just barely. But those playoff goals won't count toward that total, I don't believe.
That's unfortunate, too, because a lot of guys, have great performances in the playoffs. I guess it's not fair to a guy who ends up playing more games than the other guy to be considered, but I always thought that they should include playoff points as part of your statistics or make another category or something because, boy, playoff goals are probably twice as important as regular season goals.
Here is Dandenault in the Cincinnati zone. He'll head man for Dobbin, cross ice. Intercepted by Sean Cronin, the big lumbering defenseman who spent a lot of time in the NHL. Off to Dandenault. He avoids a body check. Wilson came in to try to crunch him. Shot down the length of the rink. Back after it is Kevin Wortman icing against Cincinnati. But Dandenault showed good ice awareness, if you will, avoiding what would have been a crunching check.
Those are the two guys we were just talking about played together this season in Saginaw, and then Wilson goes ahead and takes a run at him, but Dandenault quickly got out of the way, and Ross Wilson missed him, so no love lost there. Here it is, Freddie Chabot sets the puck up, and Dandenault's kind of set up there. He's got his head down, and Wilson comes in. Whoa, little move out of the way. Little Olay action by Eric Dandenault, and Ross Wilson clean and misses him.
Maybe somebody forgot to pick up a bar tab or pay a phone bill between those two.
Ross Wilson was a thorn in the Comets' side a few years ago when he played for the Kalamazoo Wings in the playoffs. Had a great playoff performance, and the Kalamazoo Wings knocked off the Comets in the first round.
A bit of a stuttering start to the second period. Not much going on so far through the first minute. Puck in the Cincinnati zone. Don Biggs on the boards. Biggs will try to go wing to wing. He does for Greenlaw. Greenlaw moving in, rolling it back to the net after Brian Dobbin. Sean Evans chops at it. Kept in by Biggs. Long backhand shot side of the net. Dobbin. Asenza closed it off on the short side again. Here's Biggs now. Wing to wing on the right point. Kevin Grant a shot. Rebound lying right in front. Biggs hacks at it. Now Greenlaw shoots a backhander wide. Greenlaw with a wraparound looking to center. Comes off to Willett to Fort Wayne. He'll clear for LeBlanc. LeBlanc traded from Orlando for Darren Smith about 5 weeks ago, as Fort Wayne wanted more scoring and Orlando wanted more toughness.
What a great trade for the Comets, because Darren Smith certainly is in the category of John LeBlanc in terms of skill.
Here's Shafronov streaking in across the line. He scored 46 goals. Wells handled him well there. Now it comes off to Lawless. Head manning for Tomlinson. Tomlinson in over the line. He's pulled down. No penalty call. Here's Straub with it on the Fort Wayne defense. Gives it up to Marcinician for Cincinnati. Put it on Tomlinson's stick. In for Lawless. Winding up. Tried to pick the far corner and missed the net. Penalty upcoming here. Bodies flying. We have a Fort Wayne interference penalty upcoming, I believe. Straub going off, taking Tomlinson out of the play.
When Lawless came down and shot that puck wide of Asenza, Tomlinson was going to the net, and Brian Straub took him out pretty hard, even though Tomlinson didn't have the puck, and he's going to go to the box. He's got a 2-minute penalty for interference. The Cyclones are going to have an opportunity on the power play here early in the second period.
Third power play for Cincinnati. The Clones had a minute 21 of two-man advantage in that first period, but could not score.
Let's look at the Money Store scoreboard. We have a score here. The Orlando Solar Bears are taking a 1-0 lead over the Atlanta Knights. So the Cyclones have got their work cut out for them. If Orlando wins that game, the Cyclones have to win this game. If Orlando loses, it doesn't matter what the Cyclones do. But as long as Orlando stays on top, the Cyclones are going to have to win this one.
Chin and Contos on the draw in Fort Wayne ice. Cincinnati with a power play and quickly cleared all the way down by Guy Dupuis. Clones have DeGray and Tomlinson out of the power play points. Up front, Contos with Lawless. Let's see who else is out there. Here's DeGray through center. He'll shoot it in. Scott Thomas, the other winger. Thomas in behind the goal. He scored 32. Drops it off for Contos, right corner. On the open point, Tomlinson shot. Sliding out the Blackett on a neat play was Colin Chin. Now off to Contos. His shot is deflected by Dupuis to the boards. Kept in for DeGray. Tomlinson sends it right in on goal. That rebound cleared. Asenza made the save. And quickly Fort Wayne shot it down the length of the rink. Great play by Colin Chin, sliding out to cover the point and blocking Tomlinson's shot. Cyclones with a man advantage. Tomlinson dumps it in, far corner, Fort Wayne zone. Biggs checking on Dupuis. Biggs lost his stick. In comes Dobbin now. Forks it free in the corner for Greenlaw. Greenlaw, side of the net. Cyclones with a man advantage, trailing 1-0. Greenlaw along the boards. Here's Dobbin now. Feeds the point for Tomlinson. Off to DeGray, one-timer high over the crossbar. Kept in by Dobbin. Cincinnati with a man advantage. Tomlinson right point. He'll skate to the high slot, put it in on goal. Asenza angled that to the corner boards. Dobbin now far corner. DeGray pinching in from the point. Head of the key, Tomlinson. A low bouncing shot. It trickles wide. 25 seconds on the Cincinnati power play. Puck in the Fort Wayne zone. Greenlaw muscling and knocking Willett right off the play. Greenlaw comes away with it. Greenlaw feeding for Tomlinson in the high slot. Off to Dale DeGray. Late in the power play. DeGray slips it for Dobbin. Good puck control. Cyclones need to get some quality shots though. Dobbin finally takes the drive. That's blocked out to center.
Jeff Greenlaw's doing a great job getting open in front of the net. He's standing there. Several Comets trying to move him out. No one can. Yet the Cyclones aren't taking the shot that they need. They've got him in there for a screen. They need to pound the puck at the net.
Another penalty kill for Fort Wayne as Shafronov moves in. Rebound steered wide of the goal. Shafronov broke in on right wing and snapped off a quick shot there. Fort Wayne leads at 1-0. We played almost 5 minutes of the second period. Chris Shahaki out for his first shift of period 2, number 15. Forechecking back of the net. It comes off the Contos. Hits side of the goal with a quick wrist shot from a bad angle. Good work by Shahaki, forcing a turnover. Back comes Fort Wayne, 2-on-3. And over the line for Wilson. Weak shot there. Shabbat covers up. Shafronov centers. Wells cleared the slot for Cincinnati. Now it's dumped into Fort Wayne ice. Turning is Kevin Workman. Across for Sean Evans. Out of his own zone, dumping it in on goal. Shabbat at the scramble on that bouncing puck. Comes off to Marcinician. He's ridden off the play. LeBlanc in the corner. He coughed it up. Both clubs at full strength. Fort Wayne has killed off an early second period penalty. Fort Wayne back in, catching Cincinnati on a line change. Here's LeBlanc, knocked off the play by Marcinician. Kept in now. Jean LeBlanc, he takes a hard bump along the boards. Hawkins now dealing out a body check there. The puck in back of the Fort Wayne goal. Icing is the call. Comets 1, Cyclones nothing. 14-16 left. Second period. We'll be right back. Tomlinson slaps it around to the boards, off for Scott Thomas. Wing to wing for Lawless. Lawless turning in on left wing. Dropping for Thomas. Give and go. Lawless, a shot from a bad angle. And Asenza right there on the goalpost to make the stop. The puck to center. Dandino there. Cross ice for Esau. Here's Lawless turning. Lawless coughs it up, though. Stolen by McBain, a shot, and he whistled that one wide as Lawless did a spinorama and left the puck. 1-0 Fort Wayne, and this game is basically going the Comets' way.
Yeah, they've controlled the tempo so far in the second period. The Cyclones need to pick it up a notch and really start pounding against the Comets in the corners and move that puck out front, get some shots.
Greenlaw with a good body check. Biggs is in back of the goal, too. Kept in on the point. Grant, a high shot, and Asenza grabs it. That was screened. Asenza saw it somehow and held on for a face-off, and Bob Asenza seldom gives up a rebound unless he wants to. Unless he's trying to start a rush, you're angling it to the boards.
Well, in order to get him to give up some rebounds, the Cyclones have got to start shooting the puck a little bit lower. Kevin Grant there shooting. When you're shooting from the point, you don't want to go upstairs. You're not going to beat a good goaltender on a long shot upstairs. So shoot it right along the ice. Force Asenza to get a stick or a pad on it. It's a lot harder for the goaltender to control the rebound when he's putting his leg pads or his stick on it. When you get it up into his arms, he can snatch it, he can block it, knock it over towards the corner, or just tie it right up. So Cyclones have got to shoot lower from long and get some guys going to the net, penetrating that perimeter and getting in there for some rebounds. Look at Bob Asenza working on his helmet.
So at the moment, things are not looking good for the Cyclones, winning the Frank Gallagher Trophy and grabbing the first seed in the Eastern Conference playoff picture. Clones trail here 1-0 at Fort Wayne. Orlando leading 1-0 in Atlanta.
A lot of hockey left to be played, both in Atlanta and here in Fort Wayne, though. So only a 1-0 lead. You really, with the team the Cyclones have on the ice, they're capable of scoring dozens of goals. So they just got to keep pounding that puck at Asenza and see what happens.
This is a fairly typical Fort Wayne-Cincinnati game, though, here in this building. A hard, grinding game, low scoring, close. That's the way we expect it to be. No matter that Fort Wayne really has nothing to gain here in this game. Although they'd rather play Cincinnati in the playoffs, they say, than Orlando. Wynn is forechecked there, but puck pried loose to center. Greenlaw with it. Greenlaw turning in his own end. Gives it up the boards. Biggs coming away with it. He'll send it wide. Cincinnati will change on the move. Here's Wortman touching it. We'll have a slashing minor upcoming here. We'll be right back on Sports Channel.
Because of the slash of number 23 in the left of your screen, Ross Wilson, he puts a little tap on Jeff Greenlaw back there, and he's going to go to the box. I didn't think it was much of a slash, but we got a break there, and the Cyclones go on the power play. Let's take a look at the Money Store scoreboard. Scores from around the IHL. There they are. That game in Atlanta. Orlando with a 1-0 lead in the first. Peoria 3-0 over the Chicago Wolves in the third period. Detroit and Houston 0-0 early in the first. Minnesota Moose and the Kansas City Blades 1-0 in the first. That's the Minnesota Moose's final game. And Los Angeles 4, Phoenix 2.
Fourth power play for Cincinnati. They trail 1-0. Tomlinson forks it right in front. The rebound. Lawless scores. Lawless put it in from the near side after Thomas was throttled on the far side. A power play goal. Paul Lawless' 27th of the year. That ties it at 1-1. Finally, right off the draw on that fourth power play, Cincinnati ties the game at 1-1. Lawless, his 7th goal in the last 12 games.
Well, it didn't take him long to score in the power play. Just 9 seconds into the power play advantage, Dave Tomlinson says a nice little shot over there, and Contos looks got a good little piece of it. Then it goes over Scott Thomas, grabs it, and Lawless actually fanned on the initial chance, but able to pick up his own puck laying there in the crease and put it in. Contos gives a little deflection over to Scott Thomas. Thomas back to Lawless. Lawless pounds it in. Now, all the Comet players immediately say that that's a hand pass. Watch this play here. Watch Contos. He grabs it with his glove and actually redeflects the puck with his glove right onto the stick of Scott Thomas. And legitimately, they do have a gripe there. Auger could have called that a hand pass by Contos, because in the offensive zone, you cannot direct the puck with your hand to your own player.
Game tied 1-1. Lawless power play from Thomas and Tomlinson at 7:28 second period. Puck in the Cincinnati zone. Lawless pinning Murphy on the board. It comes in front to the far wing. Here's Chris Talk. Talk sends it side of the goal. He's the rookie from the University of Wisconsin. Cyclones look to clear. The puck in center. Talk there. He'll shoot it back now. It's stolen by Lawless in with Tomlinson. Lawless moving right in. Backhand shot. Asenza got a piece of that. Lawless had two options there. He decided to shoot instead of dropping it for the trailer Tomlinson. 1-1 hockey game. Cyclones have come back to tie here on the road. Cincinnati, the best road team in the IHL, with 26 wins away from home. Lawless puts it in front. Thomas sort of fanned on that shot from the slot. Kept in by Lawless, who's working hard this shift. Now behind the net, Brian Straub on the Fort Wayne defense. He'll clear it. Shafronov trying to move it out, and the puck deflected up and out of play.
Scott Thomas with a good chance there on the rebound. Looked like he broke his stick as he was shooting it. The stick flexed out from under him. He didn't drop it, but he went right to the bench and exchanged his stick. So unfortunate break. The Cyclones could have taken a 2-1 lead there if they did get any kind of wood on that shot.
This is a cozy 8,000-seat building. Fort Wayne Comets have played 44 years in the IHL. They've won 4 Turner Cups. Most recently in 1993 when they upset San Diego in the 4-game sweep in the finals.
No one figured that the Fort Wayne Comets even had a chance against the San Diego Gulls that year. The Gulls set all kinds of IHL records for points and goals. Dale DeGray was a member of that team. They come in and the Comets beat them in 4 straight. Went out to San Diego and won 2, and came back here to Fort Wayne and won the next 2. And on their way to the Turner Cup championship.
Here is LeBlanc, a long head-manning pass right to Marcinician at Cincinnati. Shoots it back into Fort Wayne ice. Tied 1-1 midway through period 2. On the boards, LeBlanc tried to flail it in. It comes off to Evans, up from defense. Sean Evans puts it to the goal mouth. Marcinician cleared it away. Along the boards, Evans still up ice. He'll give it back in the net for LeBlanc. Spinning away from Hawkins. Bad angle shot from the right wing. That deflects wide. Cyclones back. Here's Chris Jahaki. Grabbed by Evans now, starting it back the other way. Puck loose, and it comes off for Mitch Messier. Messier into the line. A drop pass controlled by Evans. Tried to put it through, but there's Jeff Wells looking to clear. Evans now, cross ice, right wing circle. Now to the point for Guy Dupuis. He's having trouble controlling. The ice is usually very good here at Fort Wayne. Am I right, Shags, or not?
Yeah, it is. It's an excellent ice surface, good boards. It's pretty solid. They've been making ice for a long time here, so they figured out how to do it.
Thanks for backing me up on that.
No problem.
I talked to some of the boys before the game. They said they liked the ice here. They hate it in Detroit, though. The ice surface
Terrible.
Friday night in Detroit was just horrible. It's like you score the first goal in Detroit, basically you've got the game won.
Well, they have so many events going on there at the Palace. You know, they've got a concert one night, a basketball game the next, indoor soccer the next, and then they play a hockey game. So the ice doesn't stay for any period of time exposed to the air where it has a chance to dry and harden up. Here in Fort Wayne, they do have a CBA basketball team, the Fury, but they don't play a whole lot of games, and very rarely does this ice surface get used for anything but hockey. It's the Comets practice here, similar to the Garden, so the ice stays pretty solid all throughout. Those arenas where multiple events are going on every night, usually you're not going to get very good ice.
Cyclones have done an excellent job on the faceoffs, especially Don Biggs. Biggs has had a big night on the draw. They've tried all 3 Fort Wayne centermen against Biggs, and he has cleaned all of their clock. Now a turnover, a quick shot, Shabbat with a save. Boy, scheming right down the slot was Chris Winnis with a high snapshot there, and Shabbat had to be sharp after Cincinnati turned it over. Here's Biggs sending it around in the near wing. Cronin keeping it in. Pried loose for Bezo. Andy Bezo. He gets a rough ride in the corner from DeGray. DeGray and Bezo going at it. Now it comes off the Winnis, side of the net for Bezo, but Biggs is there to clear it. Now Bezo takes a run at Biggs. The second man took a run at him, and the Cyclones looking to clear. Bezo running into Frederick Chabot, the goaltender, as he came out of the corner. Andy Bezo. He and Chabot collided. Chabot bouncing up, though.
It's going to be Frederick Chabot going on the ice for a penalty, though. Stefan Auger signaling Chabot for an interference call. So he's going to go to the box. I guess he stepped in front of Bezo as Bezo was skating out. Freddie tried to make it look good and go down himself, but give him a little glove right in the face, and Bezo took a little bit of a dive there. That wasn't much, but Frederick Chabot will get a 2-minute minor for interference, and someone on the ice for the Cyclones is going to have to serve that penalty. Fort Wayne on the power play.
Third Fort Wayne power play of the game. There's Andy Bezo. 590 penalty minutes this year. Last season, almost 600 minutes. He played for 4 teams, 2 in the Colonial League and 2 in the IHL. And they have a Bezo meter here at the Allen County Coliseum. They keep track of Bezo's penalty minutes like they did for Sean Dunston. The Sean-o-meter is batting average in Chicago at Wrigley Field. They also have a sign up in the right end zone, Attack of the Killer Bezo.
He's a popular guy here. Anytime you get 590 penalty minutes, I don't care where you're playing, you're going to be a popular man amongst the hometown fans. And Bezo certainly stuck his nose in there this year.
Power play for Fort Wayne. Shafronov dropping it back at the point. Wortman now across for Sean Evans. He guns it wide. Penalty on the goaltender, Frederick Chabot. That's being served by Brian Dobbin, it looks like, in the box for Cincinnati. Back comes Murphy now. Backhand shot. He lifted it over the crossbar. Third power play for the Comets. They're 1 for 2 so far. Both goals in this game of the power play variety. Colin Chin for Fort Wayne, first period. Lawless for Cincinnati to tie here in the second. Here's Shafronov flying in. Shafronov stops at the goal line. Top rookie goal scorer in the league with 46, 20 on the power play. Cyclones clear the zone. Cincinnati's penalty killing is 7th best in the league at 83%. Fort Wayne forming the play. 109 left on the Cincinnati penalty. Too far for Chin. Marcinician clears it off a skate, though. It takes a Fort Wayne bounce. Here's Willett in on left wing for Chin. The little centerman gets it off on the left wing, and a quick shot there by LeBlanc and a chest save by Frederick Chabot.
Freddie doing a good job since that initial goal by Chin, where really Freddie couldn't do anything about it. He's made some spectacular saves for the Cyclones, really doing his job for the Cyclones' cause tonight, making a number of very good saves.
We've got an additional penalty upcoming here.
Leonard stays in front of that one, knocks it away, and there's a delay penalty called immediately by referee Stefan Auger. And it looks like someone for the Fort Wayne Comets is going to head to the box.
It is Andy Bezo going off. 592 penalty minutes for the human bowling ball. Andy Bezo. He just flies around every shift, picks out sweaters of the opposite color, and runs into people.
I'm not sure if Bezo actually got the penalty there. It looked like he came off the bench. Was it a bench minor? Yeah, too many men on the ice for the Fort Wayne Comets. Bezo, I thought I saw him come off the bench and go into the penalty box, and that is the case. He's a guy who doesn't kill too many penalties for the Comets, so he'll go serve the 2-minute bench minor, and things will be even for 57 seconds, and the Cyclones will have a 1:03 on the power play.
So that 2-minute minor will go to the team, not to Andy Bezo's record. He's only 58 minutes short of the all-time IHL single-season record of 648 minutes. Kevin Evans with Kalamazoo back in the 86-87 season.
I think I was personally responsible for about 300 of Kevin Evans' penalties that year.
I bet you were. Clubs at 4 aside now in front of the goaltenders. The Fort Wayne power play is wiped out. 1-1 hockey game, second period. Marcinician around to the boards for Tomlinson. He'll poke it to center ice. Rob there to play it for the Comets. Fort Wayne Comets, 44 years in the IHL. Fort Wayne starting the rush now. Here's Chris Tock flying in over the line. Tock, they let him go. Finally, he's poke checked by Wells. Cyclones clear it out to center ice. 7:50 left, second period. Clones 1, Comets 1. In on the right is McBain. His shot blocked. Marcinician playing a strong defensive game tonight.
He really has made a number of nice offensive moves, too, coming out of the zone. Slipped by a few guys and make some good passes there.
Now, Brian Dobbin back on the ice. The Cyclones with 58 seconds of power play. Dobbin will stay out. Here's DeGray back in behind the net. Just served a 3-game suspension. Very unlike Dale DeGray. Off the board, Cyclones with a man advantage. Far corner, Guy Dupuis. Dupuis for Fort Wayne. He's run off the play by Greenlaw. Dobbin grabs it back at the blue line. It's kept in by Esau. His shot deflected. They covered the point well. Here's Greenlaw, spin around with the puck deflected, and Asenza covers up there.
Good job by the Cyclones on the power play again, getting good penetration on Asenza. Greenlaw doing a good job going to the net. Donnie Biggs, Brian Dobbin, all those guys going to the net and trying to follow up on the rebounds. They just have only been able to put one by him so far. Paul Wallace picked up a pass across to the goal mouth and took 2 whacks at it and finally put it by Asenza, and that's the 1-1 hockey game we have right now.
5th power play for Cincinnati. Greenlaw and Sean Cronin got their sticks up for a moment. Greenlaw tried that wraparound and was thwarted by Bob Asenza. Shots on goal, Cincinnati 22, Fort Wayne 20. Greenlaw still going at it with Cronin verbally here. Greenlaw has had a strong run. He scored 3 goals in his last 4 games and put a body slam on young Ryan Huska of Indianapolis last night. Threw him down behind the net and landed on top of the guy.
It was a good one.
Oh, off the draw. Up comes DeGray to try to keep it in, but Fort Wayne clears.
Actually, Greenlaw and Sean Cronin played together about 8-9 years ago in Binghamton of the American Hockey League. I remember playing against both of those monsters up here. They're 2 big fellas that know how to hit, and they had a tough team in Binghamton that year.
Only 10 seconds left on the Fort Wayne bench. Minor being served by Andy Bezo. Clones with 1 more rush if they hurry. Thomas couldn't hold it in center. Now Lawless streaks in on right wing. Lawless barging down the boards. He's poked check, kept in by Thomas. At the point, DeGray, and another glove save for Bob Asenza. 1-1 hockey game. Comets and Cyclones from Fort Wayne. We'll be right back on Sports Channel.
There are just 2 reasons to buy a Macintosh personal computer instead of a PC.
Shaughnessy with you from Fort Wayne. 1-1 hockey game late in period 2. Cyclones have come back to tie this on Lawless's power play goal. Cyclones open the playoffs next Friday and Saturday at the Gardens against either Fort Wayne or Atlanta. If the Clones win or if Orlando loses tonight, the opponent will be Atlanta. If it's the other way around, the opposition will be these Fort Wayne Comets.
Long season, 82 games finally coming to an end here tonight, and a lot of veteran players on the Cyclones team chomping at the bit. Just can't wait for the playoffs to start. They've certainly put in a great effort during the regular season, but this is what you play for.
Here's Danzano on the right point. Now shot cross ice. Esau guns 1 wide. Lawless made the crisp pass there. Danzano up from the point, couldn't hold the puck in. Fort Wayne starting back now. Here's Shafronov, he couldn't hold it. Scott Thomas behind the goal. Thomas has scored 12 goals in his last 12 games. He had 2 last night against Indianapolis. Kept in on the point by Chin. Now a quick shot by Chin, and the save, the rebound is cleared out towards center ice. Cyclones start back. Lawless took care of a ticklish situation. Here's Tomlinson walking in. Tomlinson is stripped by Shafronov, but Lawless stole it right back. Lawless dangling at the goal line. He's scored a goal already. He'll go backdoor for DeGray, who couldn't handle it. DeGray tried to wrap around. Rebound right in front. Thomas' shot. That wouldn't go in. Lawless was leveled at the side of the net. And we've got the bodies flying around and penalties upcoming. Got a delayed penalty on Cincinnati, I guess, as Straub brings it in off for Shafronov, a shot. Shafronov fanning on a rebound. Fort Wayne still controlling. 6 attackers on for the Comets now. LeBlanc shoots it in. Far side of the net. Evans couldn't put it in.
Kevin Grant touched the puck there.
Now the puck is still loose, and finally Tomlinson controls. Boy.
What is O.J. waiting for? Grant clearly touched the puck earlier, and he didn't blow the whistle. He's got a penalty against Dave Tomlinson for holding the stick, I guarantee you. O.J. was looking right at Tomlinson. He was down on the ice, and the stick was underneath him of a Comet player. Oh, it looks like he's got roughing now. Dale DeGray for roughing, but I thought he had Dave Tomlinson for holding the stick.
What a wild flurry of action. First in the Fort Wayne zone with Asenza down. The Cyclones had all sorts of opportunities. Then later on in the Cincinnati zone. Here's DeGray back to the net trying for the wraparound. Oh, he took a heavy check there from Murphy. Now the scramble at the side of the net.
Now Tomlinson at the bottom of your screen there is holding the stick. That's what I thought he had, but I guess Dale DeGray on the other side of the screen was pounding away at a Fort Wayne Comet. So DeGray will go to the box, 2 minutes for roughing, And the Comets will go on the power play now. 5:14 left. Second period, game tied 1-1.
Fourth Fort Wayne power play of the game. They're 1 for 3 so far. Cyclones 1 for 5. Game tied 1-1. Face off at Cincinnati ice. Chin getting a lot of ice time tonight. He hasn't played much this year because of the injury. Chin scored his 11th goal of the year earlier. Chin used to be an Iron Man for Fort Wayne. He'd play every game every year, but I guess age is catching up with him a bit.
He's been a member of the Fort Wayne Comets since his second year pro, which is about 10 years at least, and he's going to have his number retired here at Fort Wayne.
Here's Chin skittering in across the line. Little 5'8" centerman for Jean LeBlanc. He's run off the play. Now Willett grabs it. Willett feeds the point. Fort Wayne with a man advantage. Evans a wrist shot in on goal. Shabbat gave up a rebound there. Chin will feed the point again. Evans going back door. Hopped right over John LeBlanc's stick. He was wide open at the side of the goal. Cyclones clear. 1:15 left on Dale DeGray's minor for roughing. Cyclones 1, Fort Wayne Comets 1. This season series has been airtight between the two teams. Clones have outscored them 22-21. This is the 8th game. It's been low scoring. Kevin Grant took the Fort Wayne forward out of the play. Cyclones clear again. Comets forming the power play rush. This is Evans, rather gingerly through center. Feeding on the right, and across the line is Murphy, their top scorer. Spinorama on the boards. He feeds the point for Dupuis. Dupuis for Wortman. Wortman at the blue line. Deflected out for Dupuis. He couldn't keep it in the zone. Comets will have to hustle to clear. They're slow in getting out. The Cyclones shoot it in. Contos racing after it, but Wortman there first. 23 seconds on the Cincinnati penalty. Here's Hawkins with a steal. He walked right in. He shoots Asenza with a save. Robbing Todd Hawkins shorthanded there. Hawkins burst right in on the breakaway, but Asenza robbed him.
I don't think Todd really got the wood on it that he wanted to. He took a shot kind of off balance coming off at his off wing and tried to rush the shot a little bit, hoping to catch Asenza sleeping. Really didn't get the speed on it that he wanted. A lot of times when he pulls up and shoots his big shot, he's better off. But see, he's a little bit off balance there, and he just kind of one-times it a little bit and tries to beat Asenza wide. Bob Asenza comes up with another big save for the Fort Wayne Comets.
You get a shot of Bob Asenza's mask. He still has that Detroit Red Wing wheel on the mask from his days with the Red Wings in 1994. They made a deal with Winnipeg, and they thought Asenza might be their magic goaltender in the playoffs. And when he wasn't, they quickly dumped him.
Yeah, they did. I think he's being paid $2 million a year still. He's probably by far the highest paid player in the NHL, in the IHL. Still on contract with the Detroit Red Wings.
Here's Chris Winnis circling the net. Winnis late in a Fort Wayne power play. Back on is DeGray. The puck, though, in the Cincinnati zone. Dandino giving Murphy a rough ride on the boards. Now it comes off for McBain. He sends it back to the goal for Wilson. Wilson and Dandino, the former Saginaw teammates, are sparring for the puck. 1-1 hockey game. Both clubs at full strength. Just under 3 to play in the second period from Fort Wayne. Game 82 of the regular season. Looks like a rugby scrum there. Finally, Tomlinson starts out for Cincinnati. Tomlinson with 95 points on the year. 3 assists last night. He'll drop for Lawless. Bad angle backhander. A stick save by Asenza, and he deliberately deflected that out to center, trying to create something offensively. Chris Winnis now. He started the year with the Michigan K-Wing. Winnis with good speed through center ice. He'll walk in on right wing. He'll bump with Marcinician. Marcinician off with a puck again. He'll start off for Lawless. Lawless sends it wing to wing. Kevin Grant up from defense. Cronin knocked it aside. Puck in center ice. Here's Shabbat coming out. There's a glove on the ice. Shabbat way out of his net. The Cyclones try to pin it in the corner. Shabbat slowly gets back into his goal crease. Cleared out on the point, and Cronin couldn't hold the puck in the zone. Under 2 to play. Second period from Fort Wayne. We have players down in the... We'll take a break on Sports Channel. Cyclones, Don Biggs, 131 straight games. That streak dates back to December of 1994. Biggs does not play a shrinking violet style. He's in there on every shift taking the body and forcing the issue. So, Don has been in a number of situations where he could have easily begged out of the lineup, but he has not.
3 players, actually, ironically, 3 players for the Cyclones this year have been Ironmen. Don Biggs, Brian Dobbin, and Len Esau make dress for all 82 games. That's very unusual to have 3 guys in the same team do that in the same season.
Here is Wells through center in a 1-1 game late in the second period. Orlando leading Atlanta 2-1 second period at the Omni. The Cyclones need an Orlando loss there. Now here's a breakaway for Fort Wayne. It's Murphy cutting in toward the net. Murphy moving in. Couldn't get a shot off. Wells caught up with him. I think Murphy heard footsteps there and never got a shot off. Now Shafronov feeds the point. Across for Evans. Evans will dump it wide. We have coincidental minors here. 4 aside in front of the goaltenders. Dobbin is off along with Willett for Fort Wayne. The teams are at even strength, but not full strength. Here's Shafronov looking to make a play side of the goal. Cleared by Dale DeGray. Murphy had a breakaway, busting in on right wing. Couldn't score. Out toward the blue line, Winnis. He'll gun one toward the goal. A stick save by Frederick Shabbat. Less than a minute to go. Second period. Tied 1-1, the Comets and Cyclones. There's a quick shot from the right wing by Winnis. It trickles wide. Shabbat just got a piece of that. Clones dumping into Fort Wayne ice. Things a little shaky here for the Cyclones.
Let's take a look at that breakaway by Todd Hawkins. The Cyclones real good. I'm sorry.
This is
Fort Wayne Comet breakaway.
Rob Murphy moving in off the right wing.
Jeff Wells chasing him down and able to just get a stick on him as Murphy got to the net. Good job by Jeff Wells. He's got tremendous foot speed back on defense. Watch him turn. He turns, comes into the play. Rob Murphy's no small guy. He's a big, strong winger, and Jeff Wells is able to not only get to him, but then muscle him off the puck. Great defense there by Jeff.
There's Wells on the bench next to Dale DeGray. If Wells hadn't been there, I think Murphy would have made a different move on the goalkeeper.
He sure would have. Rob Murphy, former first-round pick of the Vancouver Canucks, spent some time in Milwaukee in the IHL, and he's a first-rounder. He's a guy capable of putting the puck to the net, and Jeff Wells certainly did the job there against Murphy.
1-1 hockey game, 34 seconds left, second period. Chin on a face-off, winning the draw, chest save by Shabbat. You'll very seldom see Tomlinson lose a draw that cleanly. Chin won the face-off, walked right around Tomlinson, but failed to pick a corner there.
That's one of Colin Chin's favorite moves. He just gives it a little poke ahead as he comes into the face-off. You think he's going back with it the way he lines up, and then he just gives it a little chisel and steps in and gets that shot off. He's got short little arms and a short stick, and he's able to pull that move off.
He scored 248 goals as a Fort Wayne Comet. One of those coming tonight. Another face-off in the Cincinnati zone. Dandino on the boards. Dandino checks by Mitch Messier. The puck to Dandino again. Messier chases him back of the goal. Comes off to Len Esau of Cincinnati. Esau fights the puck to center and now kicks it into Fort Wayne ice. 13 seconds in the period. Here's Wortman behind. Cyclones forechecking. Thomas has it. Tomlinson was parked in front. They couldn't get it to him. Late in the period, cross ice on the point out to center for Esau, and that'll be the end of period number 2. Cyclones score one power play goal to tie it at 1-1 through 40 minutes. Cyclones and Fort Wayne Comets dead even after 2 periods. We'll be right back on Sports Channel. A 1-1 so far this year. Fort Wayne better in the shootouts than Cincinnati. They're 11-8. They're 2-0 against the Cyclones. The Clones are 8-9 in shootouts. Obviously, they're 0-2 here at the Coliseum against the Fort Wayne Comets. But let's forget about that shootout talk.
Yeah,
Get the Clones to win it in regulation.
Let's get this thing done with here. Get a couple of early third period goals and then just ride the wave all the way into the playoffs. That the Cyclones certainly don't want to back into the playoffs. They don't want to have to rely on Orlando to lose down in Atlanta tonight. They would like to win this thing outright. A win by the Cyclones tonight would guarantee them first place overall, the Gallagher Trophy for first place in the Eastern Conference and second overall in the IHL, just behind the Las Vegas Thunder.
At last report, Orlando was leading 2-1 in Atlanta in the second period. The Cyclones' 4th game in 5 nights, and you wonder about how much is left in the batteries. Orlando playing their 5th game in 6 nights. Unbelievable scheduling.
That's got to be tough, and Orlando had dropped one. Then the same night the Cyclones lost to Detroit, Orlando lost also, but Orlando bounced back and won last night at home against the Houston Aeros, forcing this deciding game here. And Cyclones would certainly like to, they control their own destiny. They can get the win tonight. It can be in their hands, and they'll take the Eastern Conference Championship.
Scott Thomas with 12 goals in his last 12 games, scored twice last night in the 3-2 win at home over Indianapolis. Clones will open the playoffs Friday night, either against Fort Wayne or Atlanta at the Gardens. Tickets are available. Ticketmaster 749-4949 at the Gardens box office, or call the Clones office 531-PUCK. 531-PUCK, extension 144. Let's take a look at the two-period stats. Clones with an edge in shots, 28-27. Cincinnati 1 for 6 on the power play. Fort Wayne is 1 for 4. The Clones maintaining a nice edge in the face-offs. Cyclones now right in with the opening draw. Greenlaw shot, he scores! Wow. Greenlaw, boy, Senza mishandled that. Off his glove, it looked like an innocuous play, and Greenlaw scores what is a soft goal, but a goal nonetheless. Greenlaw's 17th of the year, gets the high fives at the bench, and Greenlaw was just sort of dumping that in.
Yeah, he was putting it on goal, but not much steam. I said let's score early. I didn't think they'd score this early. 6 seconds into the third period. Jeff Greenlaw lets a little bit of a flopper go, a little bit of a dead duck, and it flies along, and Asenza just misjudges it. He's been making so many great glove saves all game long on the hard shot. But look at this, right off the faceoff. Greenlaw comes in, lets a duck go. Once this puck, it flutters in midair and just drops just as it gets to Asenza's glove and goes in.
I don't think Asenza took that seriously. He made so many good glove saves in this game up to now. A lot of 5 bell stops, and now a little floater, maybe a knuckleball. Greenlaw is 17th, unassisted, coming at 6 seconds of the first period. One of the fastest goals from the start of a period in Cyclones history.
That was awesome, just what the Cyclones needed. I didn't think it would be that easy. But Jeff Greenlaw showing why, just shoot the puck on the goal. You never know what's going to happen. Their 29th shot on goal ends up in the net. Cyclones with a 2-1 lead. If they can just maintain this lead the rest of the game, they have got home ice advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. And a big, big goal for Jeff Greenlaw for the Cyclones if they can maintain this lead.
That's Greenlaw's 4th goal in the last 6 games. He had a game winner 2 weeks ago in the shootout at Chicago. So he's been playing well. When Greenlaw is healthy, he's one of the better power forwards in the IHL.
He sure is. Goes to the net hard, hits the pounds guys against the boards. He's a great player.
Fort Wayne winning a draw. Here's Wortman. Wortman working back to the net. Tries a wraparound. Shabbat thwarts him, and Greenlaw's right there to cover up, along with Esau, who lands on top of Ross Wilson.
Cyclones going to go into a bit of a defensive shell now. They certainly can't try to sit on a 1-goal lead. But here's Wortman going to the net. He gets squashed as he comes back around. Look at all those white jerseys. 1, 2, 3, 4, right on the spot. Protecting Frederick Shabbat and the Cyclones goal. Good job defensively by the Clones.
Shabbat has gotten a lot of work, and he's regained his sharpness after missing 4+ weeks after the knee surgery. He's looked better and better as he's gone along. Quick shot by Winnis off the draw. He's been a factor for Fort Wayne tonight. Clones looking to clear the zone, and Greenlaw pries it off the boards to center. Fort Wayne controls. Wortman with a spinorama there. Right back is Wells of Cincinnati. He'll dump it wide of Asenza. Cyclones lead at 2-1, an early third period goal. Very early for Jeff Greenlaw, unassisted at 6 seconds. His 17th of the year. 2-1 Clones. Here is Wilson in the corner, rubbed out by Esau. The puck is loose there, a 4-man pile. Winnis trying to pry it loose. They kick along the boards as the clock continues to run. The puck comes loose now. Side of the net, Chin is shot blocked on defense. Colin Chin has scored the Fort Wayne goal. Took a quick one there off a screen. Just over a minute gone, third period. Cyclones lead the Comets 2-1. And across the line, here's Shafronov, dangerous score. Hit the goalpost as he tried to pick the far corner. Shafronov hitting the goalpost with a quick shot there. We've got a whistle and a penalty upcoming here. A tripping minor, I believe, against Cincinnati.
Looks like Dave Tomlinson's going to go to the box. 2 minutes for tripping for the Cyclones. That goal by Jeff Greenlaw is the fastest goal at the start of a period in franchise history. 6 seconds into the third period, Jeff Greenlaw puts the Cyclones ahead by 1 and sets a new club record for the fastest goal the start of any period.
Fifth power play coming up for Fort Wayne at 1:32 of the third period. A tripping minor for Dave Tomlinson. Tomlinson now with 96 points, picking up an assist in the second period on the Lawless goal. 3 assists last night. He scored, 107 points last year. He was third in the league.
And the Cyclones, for the most part, play a more defensive game this year, too. They've made a commitment to team defense. So you don't see the big numbers that you saw last year from some of these guys, but certainly balanced scoring. There's also a lot of other guys doing some scoring. It's not all on Dave Tomlinson, Don Biggs, and Paul Lawless' shoulders. There's a lot of guys in the lineup capable of scoring goals. So a much more balanced team than last year.
2-1, Cincinnati leads. A big penalty kill for the Cyclones here. They send out Hawkins up front, along with Contos. On the back line, DeGray and Marcinician. Contos circling now. Evans sends it for Chin. Chin wing to wing, but Fort Wayne offside on the play. Colin Chin getting a ton of ice time in this game for Fort Wayne. 1:44 remaining on the Dave Tomlinson minor. Cyclones 2, Fort Wayne Comets 1. Comets led 1-0 after one on Chin's early power play goal. Lawless tied it at 1-1 in the second. Now Greenlaw with a goal 6 seconds into the third. 2-1 Cincinnati. Cyclones with the best road record in the IHL. 26-9-5 on the road.
They've been a good third period team on the road all year long, too. When they get the lead in the short third period, they've very rarely lost it. So it's a good sign for the Cyclones with 18-12 left, having a 2-1 margin over the Comets.
Puck can do Fort Wayne ice. Asenza sets it up. Sean Evans, the quarterback of their power play, gives it to Willett. Here's Evans. He's pressured up along the boards for LeBlanc, dropping for Willett. Willett skates in. He'll drop it on the point, but Contos is right there. He'll fight it out to center. LeBlanc now steers it for Evans. Dangerous pass at his own blue line. Hawkins poke checks it away off to Contos. Winds up. That's deflected off the stick of Wortman, up and out of play. Good penalty killing by this group of 4 for Cincinnati.
Hawkins and Contos, 2 of the better guys in the IHL at intercepting passes in the neutral zone. You saw right there it happened. Contos and Hawkins stepped up, picked off a pass, and let a quick shot go, though it deflected wide. They're not afraid to go offensively when they get the puck, too. A lot of teams sit back and let the other team come in and set up. Not so with the Cyclones penalty killing unit. They'll pressure them right away. They'll try to force the Comets in the neutral zone and force turnovers. Never give the Comets a chance to set up in the Cyclone zone.
1:14 left on the Cincinnati penalty to Tomlinson. Cyclones change all 4 skaters. Biggs and Greenlaw up front. Grant and Esau on the back line. Comets start out Wortman, the puck carrier. Wortman through center. He'll throw it in far corner. Grant back. He'll gun it off the boards and out to center. Good work by Kevin Grant. He's developed as his tenure with Cincinnati's gone on. Grant has gotten better and better. Steadier and steadier. Shafronov now in for Murphy. Murphy to the net. Here's a quick shot. Chabot with a save there. Messier couldn't get all of that. Cleared back to the point. Sean Evans across for Wortman. Side of the net now. Murphy controlling. He looks in front. He feeds it right through the goal mouth. The puck comes off the boards to Greenlaw, who's just scored. Greenlaw dragging the play. He slides in on right wing. He pounds one from the boards and missed the net there. And an injured player behind the play. That's Shafronov, who's bent over. Their big goal scorer, the rookie from Russia.
Looks like he's favoring one of his legs. He's heading to the Comets dressing room. The Comets dressing room is right down that little alleyway right there, and the training room is right behind it. They've got a good location there. So Shafronov will probably be taken off, and they'll check him out in the training room. He's got something on his back. Someone gave him a good slash or something, and he's hurting right now.
He has scored 46 goals this year, the top rookie goal scorer in the IHL. He's second overall in rookie scoring to Bill Bowler of Las Vegas. Let's see what we can figure out where Shafronov was.
Watch the upper left corner of your screen. Oh, wow. Nice little cross check there. It's like Glenn Esau gave him the high hard one to Konstantin Shafronov, and Shafronov is feeling that one.
They're trying to freeze the spot using that Freon, whatever it is. Fort Wayne still with a power play. 20 seconds left on their power play opportunity. Here's Willett. He'll angle it off the boards to the far corner. LeBlanc there. Now Messier. Fort Wayne steers it back to the point. Straub. Now it's centered, and Marcinician cleared it right away from Mitch Messier. 3 seconds, 2 seconds on the penalty. Straub will fake the shot, give to Willett. Back on the ice, Tomlinson looking to cover the point. That shot angled wide, bouncing around in Cincinnati ice. Not out, though, as Willett keeps the puck in. Clones have killed off a penalty. They lead 2-1 early in the third over Fort Wayne here on the road. Cyclones still in their own end, looking to get it out. Willett on the boards with Tomlinson, who's just out of the penalty box. 4 minutes into the third period, Cyclones lead 2-1. Straub keeps it in for Willett. Off for LeBlanc. He has it stripped away. The Cyclones start back. Tomlinson will send off Wallace. Wallace crisscrossing into the zone. Wallace takes the body check. He's knocked down, and Fort Wayne starts the break. Andy Bizot for Messier. Messier flies in. The puck loose in front. Bizot goes into the net, running into Frederick Chabot. That's the second confrontation they've had in this game. Bizot went right into Frederick Chabot. We'll return in a moment on Sports Channel.
Paul Wallace carrying the puck over the Comets line. He tries to beat everybody here, and he gets broken up. And then the Comets come back the other way. Andy Bizot taking it to the net. Watch Bizot get hooked up by Kevin Grant here. Bizot goes into the net. Frederick Chabot goes into the net. The puck does not go into the net. And it's still 2-1 with 15:41 left in the hockey game.
Right off the draw, here's Fort Wayne moving in. Winnes got it on the left, and it was shot wide. A lucky break. Bizot directing that wide of the net.
Bizot just flat out missed that one. Winnes with a great pass, and Bizot's right on the doorstep with an open net, and he fails to score.
Not noted for his great hands. Here's the play. Winnes had Bizot, and how did he not score there? Bizot was leveled by Grant. Again, Bizot and Chabot collide. No penalties called on that play. Andy Bizot, not noted for his great hands around the net. He has scored a bit this year, though. Bizot on the season with 10 goals, 11 assists. He has 3 game winners on the year.
Bizot actually coached 2 games in Muskegon in February. Went 0-1-1 this year. He went up. He was suspended by the Comets. Went up and coached the Muskegon Fury in the Colonial Hockey League this year for a couple of games.
Cyclones win a draw. Here's Biggs through center. In across for Jahaki, who's taken Dobbin's spot on the right wing for this chip. Dobbin had a collision earlier. Here's Jahaki sending for Biggs. 2-1 Cyclones lead. Goalmouth pass cleared by Cronin. Out to center, McBain sends off Bizot. Bizot getting a regular shift here in the third period. Cyclones right back. Here's Jahaki in over the line. On his off wing, he'll pound a shot off Greenlaw's skate. Greenlaw scoring the lead goal for Cincinnati here early in the third. Chin shoots it out to center for Fort Wayne. Wells will gun it right back in for Cincinnati. 5 minutes gone. Third period, Cyclones 2, Fort Wayne Comets 1 on the road. Cyclones need a win to assure first place in the Eastern Conference. Fort Wayne looking to clear the puck in center. And across the line, too far for Rob Murphy. Chabot out of his net. Got to it first and dumped it around on the near board. Here's Hawkins, who's played well. He looks to clear. Now it comes off to Dale DeGray. DeGray leading a 3-man rush for Contos. Contos in over the line. Contos holding, shooting. Essenza with a save on that low one.
Cyclones doing a good job just getting that puck in deep, not turning it over, not giving up any odd man rushes here. They've got a 1-goal lead. You don't want to sit on that lead and just go into a defensive shell, but at the same time, got to be smart about it. Don't penetrate too much. Don't commit your defenseman at the point. Just stay back and make the Comets do it to you. And I don't think the Comets offensively have the skill that you really have to worry. If you've got 2 men back, 3 men back all the time, they've not got that one-on-one guy who's got to go in and score the goal for it.
Here's the latest from the Omni in Atlanta. Orlando leading the Atlanta Knights 3-2. It doesn't matter what Orlando does if Cincinnati wins the game. The Cyclones with a 1-point lead. If the teams were tied in points, though, Orlando has the tiebreakers in their favor. They would get the first seed and win the Gallagher Trophy. Clubs at full strength. 2-1 Cyclones lead it. Messier scales it into Cincinnati ice. Chabot blocking for Kevin Grant. Grant very sloppy and coming out of his own end. The puck loose at the side of the goal. Chabot trying to stop it. And finally it's cleared by... No, Lawless can't get it out. Finally it's dumped off the boards by Messier. I should say Marcinician. Boy, a very sloppy clearing effort there by Kevin Grant. Fort Wayne right back in. Messier trying to go around Grant, who plays the body well this time. Now LeBlanc trying to feed it in front. Back on the open point and out to center ice. Well, Kevin Grant made a bad decision trying to go up the middle of the ice with the puck there. Luckily, the Clones got away with it. Cincinnati leads it 2-1 on an early third period goal by Jeff Greenlaw, the fastest goal at the start of a period in Cyclones history at 6 seconds of period 3.
That might be the difference here. If that goal by Jeff Greenlaw can hold up, the Cyclones will win the Eastern Conference Championship, and they'll have home ice throughout the Eastern Conference division of the playoffs. Of course, if they face the Las Vegas Thunder in the finals, then the Thunder would retain the home ice advantage by virtue of their first overall finish in the IHL. There's a scramble for the puck in front. Frederick Chabot, he knows his leg is there. He knows it's blocking the puck, and he just keeps it there. The puck ends up hitting him, and Cyclones are able to get it out.
Chabot has been placed in jeopardy quite frequently tonight with that surgical knee. It doesn't seem to be bothering him a bit.
No, he's not holding back at all. He's not favoring it. He's sticking his knee right out there and testing the waters, and that's a good sign for the Cyclones going into the playoffs.
Contos won a draw from McBain. DeGray sends it around on the boards. In goes Dandenault forechecking. Now the puck is held in by DeGray. A waffling shot wide of the goal. Dandenault there, off for Hawkins. Around for Contos, back of the net. Contos looks to center. Dandenault there. They couldn't click on it. Back comes Fort Wayne. Chris Winnis has played well. He'll give to Andrew McBain. In on the left it goes for Wilson. He takes a wild shot from the boards. That's well wide. Now Workman tried for the short side and missed it. The puck trapped at the side of the net. And finally whistled by Auger as DeGray is involved in a pushing match with a Fort Wayne player. 2-1, Cyclones lead it. 12:47 left in the third. We'll be right back on Sports Channel.
Let's take a look at our Money Store scoreboard. There's the game we just talked about. And Peoria 3, Chicago nothing in the third. 1-1 Detroit and Houston in the third period. 4-4 tie Minnesota and Kansas City in the third. And a final. Phoenix Roadrunners have defeated the Los Angeles Ice Dogs 6-4. So Phoenix goes on with 82 points. Milwaukee 1, Utah 2. And that game about to get underway. But the big one is Orlando 3, Atlanta 2 at the Omni in Atlanta. And that has a real deciding factor on what happens here tonight.
Here's Wortman charging up from the point for Fort Wayne. Circling the net, trying for the wraparound. Greenlaw rode him into the boards and bumped him into the referee, Auger. Greenlaw takes a check now from McBain, who retaliates. Fort Wayne holding it in the zone. Greenlaw and McBain still tied up, and Cincinnati will clear. Puck in center. Now Shahaki shoots it to the Fort Wayne line. Cronin there on the Comet defense. Off on the boards for Andrew McBain. McBain is tied up there. Cincinnati playing a clutch and grab style at the moment, protecting a 1-goal lead on the road. The puck caught on the top of the boards there. Here's Esau feeding for Marcinician. He'll send it on the boards into Fort Wayne ice. Forechecking is Lawless now. Rob sends it around for Rob Murphy. Lawless quickly got to the other side of the ice. Terrific skater. Talk now will center. Here's Chin through center for Fort Wayne. Chin ridden off the play by Tomlinson. The Cyclones with a steal. Kevin Grant finds open ice. He'll walk into the zone. He takes a body check from Straub, who went after him with an elbow there. Puck bouncing to the Cincinnati line. Here's Dale DeGray, who's come back well after the 3-game suspension. Now on the left wing, Lawless. Lawless beats Talk, winds up and hooks a shot wide from the left wing. Now LeBlanc for Fort Wayne. Tries to send off Chin, stolen by Thomas of Cincinnati. A lot of play in the neutral ice area here at the moment, Shags.
Both teams doing a real good job tying up each other in the neutral zone.
Hawkins flips it in on goal. Asenza grabs it with a glove. We'll have a face-off upcoming. 11:08 to go, third period. Cyclones 2, Fort Wayne Comets 1 from Fort Wayne.
Cyclones should be content to just dump the puck in, force Fort Wayne to regroup and try to break it out every time. Then go with a one-man forecheck, have both Cyclones wingers pick up the Comet wingers coming out of the zone. That gives the Cyclones defense a chance to stand up and play the puck through the neutral zone. They don't want to give out any odd man advantages coming over the zone, and they like to have their defensemen be able to pick up those Cyclones forwards coming over the red line, so there's not going to be any penetration by the Comets.
There is Dave Farish. That's not Mr. Clean. That's Dave Farish, the first-year. Montel Williams is another good synonym, if you will, for Dave Parrish, former NHL defenseman and first-year coach here at Fort Wayne. Cyclone, the puck back to the Fort Wayne goal. Dupuis written off the play. That's Dandino again with a forecheck. Now Hawkins will try to send it behind. Dandino and Dupuis battling. Quick shot. Contos almost scored there, but Hasenza came across to close down the short side. Sent the length of the rink. After it is Wells icing against the Fort Wayne Comets with 10:43 left.
Despite the fact that they're holding on to a 1-goal lead, the Cyclones aren't going to sit back when they get a chance offensively. Chris Contos and Todd Hawkins both working the puck very well down deep. And watch this little turnover. Good takeout there by Dandino. And then good opportunity there to flick the puck right in front for Contos. Here's Dandino taking out the Comets defenseman. He picks it up and actually ended up deflecting it out towards the front. And Contos had a good scoring opportunity there.
This third line has been very effective with Dandino on the right, Contos at center, and Hawkins playing on his off wing.
Contos does a good job playing center, although he's not a natural centerman. I'd like to see him at the wing. With the injury to Doug McDonald, certainly Chris Contos can move right over there and fill the void.
Chin winning a draw for Cronin behind the Fort Wayne goal. We haven't seen Shafronov since he was injured. Cross-check during that power play. Shafronov, their top sniper, with 46 goals. Cyclones send it the other way. Here's Greenlaw, who scored the lead goal. He ties up the play. Puck still loose and now shot to center. Comes off to Wilson. Wilson in across for McBain. Wilson chasing it back to the net. Greenlaw pounds him into the wall. Greenlaw again against Wilson. Puck knocked loose for Dandino. Eric Dandino, who started the year in the Colonial League, will chip it into Fort Wayne ice. Cincinnati changing on the move. 10 minutes remaining. Third period. Possibly 10 minutes left in the regular season if we don't go to the shootout. Fort Wayne back the other way. Here's Winnes, who's been dangerous all night. He slides in. Here's Shafronov back on the ice for the first time, and he just overskated that centering pass from Winnes. Lawless back to play for Cincinnati. Cyclones lead it 2-1. Third period from Fort Wayne. Clones have come back from a 1-0 first period deficit. He saw in behind the Cincinnati goal. He's played every game this year for the Clones. There'd be 4 Iron Men for Cincinnati, but DeGray had that suspension. He'd played every game until that juncture. Tomlinson poke check.
Back a couple of years where I could have played every game too, but not for the 10 or 12 games I got suspended.
Cyclones back. Here's Lawless busting in with Thomas. Lawless, a snapshot blocked by Cronin. Dupuis steers it ahead for Rob Murphy. Now to Chin. Chin in across the line. Cyclones standing up well at the blue line. Poke checking that away. Now Fort Wayne brings it in offside with 8:56 left. Cyclones holding on to a 2-1 lead here at Fort Wayne. We'll be right back on Sports Channel.
Into the elite few of goal scorers in a season in the IHL Cyclones. Patrick LeBeau, the all-time leader with 93-94 with 47 goals. Lawless last year, I remember he had 44, but he missed 13 games at the beginning of the season after foot surgery, and he easily could have had 50 the way he was scoring at the clip last year. But Dave Tomlinson, congratulations, 39 goals this season. We'd love to see you make it 40 here tonight.
Here's Chris Chahaki trying to drop it for Contos, who had sliced over on right wing. The puck in center. Contos there. He'll rim it around on the board. Clones trying to protect a 1-goal lead here on the road and win that Eastern Conference Championship. Here's Bizot from center. Oh, that was a knuckleballing shot, and Shabbat blocked it with his right shoulder. The puck loose. Chahaki starting back. 2-on-1 with Hawkins. Chahaki moving right in. Hawkins blasts one. Oh, and Wortman fell in front of that and deflected it. Looked like a good scoring chance there. Now Hawkins exchanging bumps with Bizot in the corner. Bizot trying to get Hawkins to do something, but Hawkins walks away from that. Wholesale personnel changes. The puck in the Cincinnati zone now out to center. Marcinishian will just dump it in. 8 minutes remaining in the regular season. Cyclones leading Fort Wayne 2-1. Clones goals by Greenlaw and Lawless. Dumped in by McBain of Fort Wayne. Off the board, Evans looking to center. Good checking by Cincinnati. The puck back of the net. Here's Captain Don Biggs coming out. Feeds it for Dandino, who steered the puck to center. Dumped back in by Dupuis. Shabbat behind the net. Leaves for Esau. Esau almost lost the puck behind him. Now he'll flip to the Fort Wayne line. Here's Wortman. Cross ice for rookie Chris Tock. Tock, a Wisconsin Badger, looking ahead. Lawless almost stole that. Here's an odd man break for Fort Wayne. Murphy a bullet from the boards, and Shabbat with a save there.
Cyclones not allowing Fort Wayne any real odd man opportunities. A couple of shots coming from the outside, but Frederick Shabbat, one of the best goalies in the league, on that outside shot. So no penetration by the Comets. Here's a long shot by Murphy, but Frederick Shabbat has this thing the whole way. Watch, he's out there cutting down his angle, puts it right between the shoulders of Frederick Shabbat, and he's able to make an easy save. Dave Tomlinson and Scott Thomas, rather, the only goal scorers of the Cyclones with more than 30 this year. In years past, they've had 5 or 6 guys with 30 goals or more. But look at the list of guys with close to 30. Don Biggs with 27, Paul Lawless with 26, Chris Santos 26, Brian Dobbin with 28 goals. So 8 guys with 59 points or more on the team. Very balanced scoring by the Cyclones. No guys running away with it by any means, except for Tomlinson with 95 points. But very, very balanced scoring. And that's a good sign going into the playoffs. You're not relying on that 1 or 2 hot guys for you.
Chin winning a draw. Wortman with a shot. Blocked on defense. Thomas covered the point well there. Wortman walked in, and Thomas smothered that. 7 minutes remaining. 2-1 Cyclones lead. Here's a steal by Tomlinson. Feeding right in front. Thomas got a stick on it, but couldn't deflect it on the net. Now Lawless keeping it in for Tomlinson. That bounced over his stick. This line buzzing around, forechecking well. Scott Thomas will hold it in. Tomlinson behind the goal. He sweeps away from Wortman. Fans on a bad angle shot. Gives it to Lawless, who maneuvers in front. Fort Wayne, though, clears. A Cincinnati player knocked down, no penalty call. In across the line, Shifronov. It's stolen by Contos just off the bench. Contos walks in, tries to split the defense. He gets a rough ride there. It's grabbed by Dupuis. Now stolen by Hawkins in front for Shahaki. A return for Hawkins. He couldn't settle the play. Boy, Hawkins, Shahaki, and Contos or Dandino playing the other wing. This third line has done well tonight.
Great job there. A little miscue between Hawkins and Shahaki there. Shahaki wasn't ready for the pass, and then when he got it, it was bouncing a little bit, and he couldn't get it back to Todd Hawkins over there. But they've done a great job forechecking, really frustrating the Fort Wayne Comets as a good penalty-killing combination and a good third-line combination.
A third goal would really take the pressure off. There have been some good opportunities, especially for that third line. A 1-goal game, though, and you look at the possibility of a late penalty on Cincinnati, giving Fort Wayne the power play. Then in the final minute 30, Fort Wayne no doubt would pull the goalkeeper and throw 6 attackers on.
A lot of times late in the period, 6 minutes ago in a 1-goal game, the coaches shorten their bench. They go to 2 lines and maybe 4 defensemen, but not so with the Cyclones. They've got so much depth. Ron Smith can go with all 3 lines and all 6 defensemen.
Messier steers it in. Kevin Grant parked in behind the Cincinnati goal. Around the boards, it's stolen by Mitch Messier, the veteran player. He gets a rough ride from Esau. Shahaki now on the right wing. Through center with Contos and Hawkins. He steers it in on goal. Behind the net, Asenza trying to pry it loose. He'll cover up there. The Cyclones do not want to go to a shootout. That's for sure. Their shootout numbers have not been good this year. They're 0-2 in shootouts here in Fort Wayne.
Well, luckily, they never have to play one again after the night this season. In the IHL Turner Cup playoffs, there are no shootouts. You go play sudden death overtime for as long as it takes. If it takes till 3 o'clock in the morning, you just keep playing until someone scores a goal.
Dave Parrish, who's coached in the IHL previously in the American Hockey League. 10-year career as a defenseman in the NHL. Ron Smith would love to finish first in the Eastern Conference. All he and the Clones have to do is protect this 2-1 lead for another 5 minutes, 50 seconds. Biggs and Chin, a couple of veterans on the draw. Off for big Sean Cronin in the Fort Wayne zone. He's tied up by Dandino. Now DeGray will send it right back in. 2-1, Cincinnati leading Fort Wayne. Cyclones the best road team in the IHL. That's because they protect leads like this so well. Maybe the number 1 silver lining of this past week has been the play of Frederick Shabbat in goal. He's proved with a lot of work in the last 5 games that he is back on form.
That's a good opportunity for him. I'm glad he was able to have that knee surgery at the time he did, so he came back and had 10 days or so to get back into playing shape, because as many shots as you take in practice, nothing can substitute game play for a goaltender.
5 minutes left now as Scott Thomas works out from behind his own net and sends it into Fort Wayne ice. Cyclones leading 2-1 here at the Allen County Coliseum. Back comes Colin Chin. He scored the only Fort Wayne goal. His pass in center picked off by Wells. Wells scored his 10th of the year last night. The game winner against Indianapolis. The Clones, if they hold on, will have won, what, 3 of 4 games in the final week. A nice surge for the Cyclones, if they can pull it off. Cleared down the length of the rink by Sean Evans. Off the boards, touched for icing by Esau. 4:25 left in this regular season. Cyclones nursing a 2-1 lead at Fort Wayne. We'll be right back.
Look, you have got to go to Office Depot.
And there's the standings. Cincinnati 109. Orlando with 108 points. Orlando still has a 3-2 lead over the Atlanta Knights in Atlanta. And if things finish the way they are right now, Cincinnati would finish with 111 points. Orlando with 110. And the Cyclones would win the Eastern Conference regular season championship and have home ice for the first 3 rounds of the playoffs.
Willett and Contos on this draw in Fort Wayne ice. They tie up off the face-off. Here's Wertman sending on the fire wing, intercepted by Wells. Cyclones content just to grab possession in center ice and dump it in. Now Fort Wayne starting back. LeBlanc tried to go wing to wing off his skate. Contos, he'll dart in and shoot it wide to the corner. Shahaki here. Hill center. Contos brings it out in front. Couldn't get a shot away. Playing the Fort Wayne zone. Mitch Messier starts back. Clones lead at 2-1. Comets with the puck. A long lead for Willett. Willett might have been onside. Esau steers it away. Head Manning pass there, almost clicked. Puck in center ice. Contos collides with Dupuis. The puck to the Fort Wayne zone where Willett shoots it ahead. Up and out of play it goes. 3:38 left. Clones 2, Comets 1.
Number 7 for the Comets, Paul Willett. Hardcore Cyclones fans may remember him. He just scored the first ever goal by an opponent against the Cincinnati Cyclones, dating back October 25th, 1990, as a member of the Roanoke Valley Rebels in the very first game against the Cincinnati Cyclones. That guy right there scored the first goal by an opponent in Cincinnati Cyclones history.
And I was there. Who scored the first Cyclones goal ever?
Mike Chickasola.
Exactly.
125 into the game.
Exactly.
My brother was on that team. I wasn't there, but I heard good things about it.
Cyclones lost that first game in the ECHL in a shootout, as I remember. It was a pretty wild game, like 6-5. Fort Wayne coming out of their own end. Here's Winnis, who's played a great game. Winnis in with McBain. Winnis splits the defense. The puck rolls in on goal. The Cyclones rub out Winnis, and Shabbat holds on for a face-off.
I think the Cyclones lost 4 or 5 in a row there to start the season that year. Didn't start off too well, but Dennis DeRosier made wholesale personnel changes and put together a pretty good team that went on later on this season and won 10 games in a row to set at the time an ECHL record. Here's the play by Winnis. He gets a little Cyclone sandwich there and goes nowhere. Frederick Shabbat able to make an easy save.
Winnis attempting to split the defense, and that's called being squeezed off the play.
Yes.
McBain on a draw with Biggs. Biggs fights it to the defense. In behind the net. Wilson gives it to Winnis. Bodies fly. Marcinician just reefed Wilson. Cyclones look to clear. DeGray will shoot it wing to wing. Too far for Greenlaw, who scored the lead goal 6 seconds into the third period. It was a soft goal. Senza misplayed it with the glove, and it dropped into the net. Here's Dupuis chipping it past the Cincinnati defense. The Clones just standing up 4 abreast at the blue line here, forcing Fort Wayne to dump it in. Here is Winnis in the far corner. Winnis bumped along the boards. Now it comes off to Greenlaw. He battles it out to center. He'll flip it high into the Fort Wayne zone. This will be shy of icing. Evans plays it. 2:38 to go. Cyclones 2, Fort Wayne Comets 1. If the Clones win, they capture the Gallagher Trophy and they'll be the top seed in the Eastern Conference. They'll play Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs. Lawless breaking in now. Lawless shifting around a couple of Comets. A wrist shot blocked on defense. Great dangling work by Lawless there. Back comes Fort Wayne. Shafronov moving in. Shafronov tried to shift to the backhand and Esau stuck right with him. Down to 109 to play. Make that 2:09 to play in regulation. Cyclones again fight it out to center. Tomlinson being checked by Chin. He'll walk in. He'll try to split the defense. And he's run off the play by Chris Tock. Fort Wayne moves it out to center. Shafronov has it stripped by Marcinician. Now Shafronov back the other way. Thomas, though, has it deflect out to center, off to Marcinician. He gains the red line and flings it into Fort Wayne ice. 1:40 to play. Cyclones lead it 2-1. Here's Hawkins up to control. Hawkins has played a good game. He works out in front. The puck in the goal mouth area cleared by Fort Wayne. Comets are forced to gamble now. Messier, long head manning pass off LeBlanc's skate. Chipped back into Fort Wayne ice.
No surprise who's on the ice right now. Hawkins, Chahaki, and Contas. They've been the good defensive line all night for the Cyclones.
Here's Messier trying to move around to Gray. He'll send it to the goal mouth. Willett was there, but could not make connections on that. 1:10 to play. Asenza still in his net. Cyclones work it out to center. Hawkins will shoot it down the boards. 1 minute to go in this third period. Clones leading it 2-1. Here's Messier in center. Stolen by Dandino. Asenza still in his net. Fort Wayne forming the play. Bob Asenza skating off. 6 attackers on for the Comets. Down the right wing it goes to Colin Cheney. Sends it to the goal mouth. Too far for Murphy. Dandino looking to clear. 6 attackers on. Here's Greenlaw flipping it down on an empty net. This is rolling tantalizingly and just wide. With 34 seconds to go, Greenlaw almost scored on that backhander. Icing not called, though. Winnes will start it back for Murphy. 6 attackers on for Fort Wayne. Here's Esau touching it for icing. We'll have a face-off all the way down in the Fort Wayne zone. Asenza will probably have to come back on. Yes, he will. 24 ticks left. 2-1. Cincinnati leads it. And face-off in the Fort Wayne zone.
All the Comets fans shaking their heads here. They're not too happy with their team in a game they'd like to win going into the playoffs. A lot of fans picking up and leaving, and they've got the big award ceremony here after the game. But watch this play by Greenlaw. A little backhand pass. I think he's just trying to get it out at this point. You know, take the pressure off. Almost goes in the net. Wow. Almost.
And almost an icing call, which would have brought the face-off all the way down into the Cincinnati zone.
Yeah, if that puck didn't go all the way right through the crease like it did, it would have been icing. But when the puck passes through the crease, icing is negated.
Cyclones will have a face-off at Fort Wayne ice with 24 seconds left, nursing a 2-1 lead. And Senza, the goaltender for Fort Wayne, has to come back on for this draw. Or you'd think he would come back on for a face-off of the defensive zone. There he is, Bob Senza. And he's going to cause some team, probably Orlando, some problems in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I would hate to be facing that guy. When he gets hot, boy, he is scary. And he's been pretty hot tonight. Give the Cyclones credit. 31 shots on goal. They were able to pop 2 by him. And that was enough. They held on and played well defensively and able to hold on here. Although there still are 24 ticks of the clock left. Scott Thomas, Jeff Greenlaw, and Don Biggs on the ice for the Cyclones. Esau and DeGray, the veterans, back on defense together. Now, Don Biggs doesn't need to win this faceoff back. All he wants to do is jam this puck into the corner, force the Comets to regroup, and keep Asenza in the net for as long as possible. Don't allow Fort Wayne to get that 6th attacker out right away. So if Biggs can just kind of control the faceoff where it goes, he doesn't want Willett to win it clean to one of his guys. If he can just kind of keep it tied up in the faceoff dot area, the Cyclones will be able to react to it and keep Fort Wayne from getting any kind of break.
Biggs and Allen on the draw. Comes off the